Seaver is on the mound, a 16-game winner this year. 34 years old now. He has Johnny Bench behind the plate. They have an infield for the Reds of Ray Knight at third, Concepcion at short, Morgan at second, Dreesen at first. Foster is in left field, Cruz in center. The right fielder is Collins. The leadoff batter is Omar Moreno. Speedy fellow, one of the fastest runners in baseball. He's a left-handed batter, a slap-type hitter. Knight comes in at third base, and Dreesen shortens up at first. The first pitch of the night, a swing on this, strike one. We're on the way at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati with a crowd of about 52,000 on hand. A lovely evening for this time of year. Here we are on the 2nd of October. It's just a perfect night for baseball, and as Jerry told you, very little wind. Seaver goes to work again, and Moreno swings again and misses on a high fastball, and that's strike two. Leave it to Seaver to have his nerves in the right place, Jerry.
Jack, I want to tell you, he knows one thing. This is the man he wants to keep off the bases. 77 stolen bases. You let a guy like this get on to start a ball game, you don't know what can happen.
It changes everything around. He'll be followed by Foley and Parker. The pitch on the way on an 0-2 count. Moreno swings and fouls it back to the screen. It's still strike two. And the crowd groaned as the Pirates center fielder got a piece of the ball. John Kibler is the plate umpire. He sends a new one to the mound. Ed Montague at first base. Jerry Dale at second. Frank Pulley's in the rocking chair down at third base, and the foul line umpires are Dick Stello in left and Jim Quick in right. Quick won't be able to throw anybody out of the game tonight, will he?
And one thing, he won't get behind the plate if it goes 5 games. Unless there's a rain out, we got to do it for 6 or whatever. But there's an amazing thing about the speed of these two clubs, and we'll talk about that in a moment.
Moreno leading off in the ball game. Takes it a little bit outside and a little bit low. Ball 1, 1, and 2. And the crowd tries to help Kibler umpire the game. Joe Arnett coaching at third base. Al Monchak at first as the bouncing ball is short, fielded by Concepcion. Throws out at first, and that's the way the old ball game starts. Moreno just slapped at the ball. The charging Concepcion got a big hop, took plenty of time, and threw him out.
A classic change for a year in Omar Moreno. A .235 hitter a year ago, .282 this year, and the 77 stolen bases, an improvement of 6 over a season ago. But Pittsburgh, as a team, 188 stolen bases. Cincinnati, 99, and some of their best men, Morgan, are tailing off a little.
Here's Tim Foley, the shortstop at the plate, a right-handed batter. Seaver's first one is blown away for ball 1. We're happy to have the American Forces Network tuned in around the world here with our CBS broadcast. Seaver brings it back to Foley again, and he takes a blistering fastball at the knees for a called strike one, and it's 1-1. Seaver finished the season in very strong fashion, suffered with a bad back in the early part of the year, and then won 11 in a row and carried the Reds to the pennant. The pitch swung on, and there's a bouncer to third to Ray Knight. The throw, he is out, and Ray Knight had a little trouble with that high bouncing ball getting in the light.
Like so many ballparks, the third baseman and the left fielder are really fair game. I don't know what it is. It never seemed to happen before, but in these new stadiums, and this is a circular stadium here in Cincinnati, San Diego has a problem, Pittsburgh has a problem. High choppers to third and line drives and a certain angle to the left fielder are deadly.
Moreno is grounded to short. Foley is grounded to third, and Dave Parker, who is from Cincinnati, the Pirate right fielder, steps into the batter's box, hitting at .310 for the regular season with 25 home runs. They play him to pull just a bit. They play him deep. He hits the ball to all fields, and he can run, so Knight's even with the base at third. The pitch, swinging a ground ball to first. Good play by Dreesen. The unassisted put out. The Pirates go down 1-2-3. The left-hander, John Candelaria, will go to the mound. And in the middle of the first inning, no score.
Here's Barsman and McCormick for Quantel Business Computers.
Well, today we're talking with another captain of industry. Sir, could you tell us about your company?
Yes, I have a company where I braid people's legs, and I manufacture merry-go-round horse eyes. It's a conglomerate.
Oh, sounds complex. Tell me, how do you control this conglomerate?
Very simple. I use a Quantel Business Computer.
Oh, you're a computer expert, too.
Are you kidding? I don't know a thing about computers. I used to think that software was a programmer's long job.
Yes, then why a Quantel Business Computer?
Because it speaks speaks my language.
What language is that?
English, my friend, English.
Oh, you mean like how now, brown cow?
That's the idea. And with Quantel's plain English programming, I didn't have to hire some white-coated wizard to help me run my business. And with the money I saved, I was able to acquire another company for my conglomerate.
What company was that?
A chain of coin-operated marriage chapels.
For Quantel information, call toll-free 800-227-1894. In California, call 415-783-3410. Collect.
Riverfront Stadium, the Pittsburgh Pirates went 3 up and 3 down. Tom Seaver, in the general manner that he is known through his years, 235 wins. When it's a big ball game, he is at his best. And I think at this moment, this broadcast will be presented by authority of Major League Baseball. It's intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or retransmission of other uses of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. And Jack Buck, I have to believe that John Candelaria, a pro when he is right, but he's had a bad back on and off all year. The first couple of innings for any youngster are vital. If he gets through the first 2, then he may be on his way. If he has problems early, it could destroy him.
I saw him pitch last Thursday against the Cardinals in a makeup game. He came out of the bullpen. He's been suffering with a bad back, and while he was warming up in the bullpen, he was doing stretching exercises after every couple of pitches, and he had nothing when he came into the game. This is his first appearance since then, and it'll be enlightening to watch him work here in the first inning to Dave Collins, Joe Morgan, and Dave Concepcion. This Collins kid did a tremendous job for the Reds, filling in for Ken Griffey, one of the better players in the game, was lost to the Reds because of a knee injury. And Collins will lead it off to start the first inning. The Pirates win down in order. This is a best-of-5 series. Cincinnati won 90 games. Pittsburgh won 98 to clinch their division. Candelaria 14-9. When he is right, he can really make it look easy. It's a nice, fluid pitching motion, not herky-jerky like a lot of left-handers. Time call by the third base umpire. Madlock has a complaint, maybe a reflection or something from the seats that they're going to take care of a bit later on. Collins can run. He likes to bunt. They play him straight away and not too deep. The infielders shorten up the step. And the tall left-hander, John Candelaria, brings it in, and it's high ball one. And when you have that bad back, that's where those pitches will go, Jerry Coleman, upstairs.
That's not his bag, Jack. He's got to get it down. He is a sinker ball pitcher with a good breaking ball. He's got to keep it low.
Now Collins leading off, looks at one of the knees for a call, strike one. 1-1. Pittsburgh won by 2 over Montreal. Montreal pulled the curtain down, still having 2 games to play. There is a problem back behind home plate, and it bothers the third baseman. Maybe a light, a photographer's camera, something, and John Kibler, Frank Pulley, a couple of the umpires talk it over, and we have to take care of the problem. Before we go any further, Jerry, it's a good opportunity during this delay to congratulate the Montreal Expos and the Houston Astros for the battles that they put on to try to win it.
Dark horses both ways. I think the Expos came within an eyelash. They came within, well, what can you say? How close can you get and not win it? And Houston lost a doubleheader to Atlanta that destroyed them. It was that close.
Collins leading off for the Reds. Swings and a base hit, I think. Nope. Second baseman Garner went back. The ball hung up, and Garner got a good jump, went back, and caught the pop fly into short right. And there is one man out. The batter will be Joe Morgan. And how do you explain his .250 batting average?
Joe Morgan's 36 years old, Jack, and I don't mean to belittle the talent of this man. He's been injured for 2 years. His record has gone downhill the last couple of years. He went from the MVP 2 years in a row down to just an average player right now. But he has the ability in a short series to be what he was.
Has one of the best batting eyes in the game, a left-handed hitter. They play him to pull. He takes the ball high and away. Morgan at the plate, trying to become the first base runner of the evening. Left-handed batter against the left-handed pitcher, John Candelaria. The young man from New York on the hill for the Pirates, kicks and fires. Morgan looks, and it's low, and it's ball too. How he can lay off the pitches that he does and still hit the ball for distance is hard to understand, but Morgan can do it. He walked 93 times this year. He swings on 2-0 and fouls it back. Out of play, 2 balls and a strike.
Jack, Joe Morgan in his prime would hit over 20 home runs, drive in 100, score 100, get 100 base on balls, and hit 300, and you can't do any better than that. That's why he was MVP. Those numbers have gone down.
Morgan with one out, swings and fouls it back again, and it's 2-2. Morgan is the only player in the history of the game to hit 200 home runs and steal 600 bases. And he's batting with one out. Pirates one down in order. We're in the opening inning. The pitch is coming, and Morgan takes it high. It's a full count at 3-2. Concepcion on deck.
Little side note here, Jack. Willie Starzl at first base, and Joe Morgan grew up together in the Bay Area in Oakland. When the Pirates signed Starzl, he tried to talk him into signing Morgan. They turned him down.
The pitch to Morgan. He swings and fouls it. Russ Nixon coaching at third, and Ron Plaza at first base for the Reds. John McNamara has a heck of a chance of being the manager of the year.
John McNamara, Bill Burden, Dick Williams. We're talking about several people who carried their clubs much further than many people thought they would. And how about Chuck Tanner here with Pittsburgh?
A full count on Morgan, the pitch. He swings at a high fly ball into right center. That'll be caught by Moreno. Comes to his left, taps the glove, makes the catch. 2 out. We're still looking for our first runner of the evening. Dave Concepcion walks to the plate. 281. When you talk to a lot of people in the game of baseball who watch National League play, and you ask them who is the best shortstop in the league, they come up with names like Ozzie Smith, the fellow that you're going to have playing for you next year, Jerry. Gary Templeton, Larry Boa, Bill Russell. I think most people settle on Concepcion. First pitch to him, right-handed batter. Ball one, low and away.
Concepcion has the one thing that the others lack. He has power and RBI talent, where the others have the great fielding skills and their depth, but this guy has punch.
Concepcion looks at one outside from Candelaria. Ball 2. So Candelaria has been behind the last couple of hitters. Came back and got Morgan. It's a friendly ballpark. You see a lot of players, and you will see on both of these clubs, swinging on 2-0 and 3-1 and 3-0. There's a foul out of play. 2 balls and a strike.
Jack, Concepcion also is one of the few players I know who is in an agility position, shortstop, second base, and so forth, center field, who broke his ankle badly and came back 100%, no ill effects whatsoever. It's rare.
Matlock is playing off the line. Concepcion bounces it to Foley at short. He gets a big hop, makes a good throw, and both sides go down 1-2-3. After 1, Pirates nothing, Cincinnati nothing.
Take a good long look, take a look at the cutlass over there. Cutlass watches, take a good long look. Look at all that cutlass there. Take a good long look at the cutlass over there.
What we need is a good-looking car.
Oldsmobile Cutlass.
With great mileage.
Oldsmobile Cutlass.
But it's got to have 4 doors.
Oldsmobile Cutlass.
Cutlass comes in a 4-door?
Yep. All the Cutlass flair plus the convenience of 4 doors. And an EPA estimated 19 miles per gallon with the available 4.3-liter V8. And that's the best V8 EPA gas mileage estimate of any car. Remember, use this estimate for comparisons. Actual mileage may differ. This engine's not available in California.
Cutlass watches? Start watching us. How do we look?
Riverfront Stadium, the Reds and the Pirates in the first, best 3 out of 5, and in that first inning, it was a draw. Seaver went through Marino, Foley, and Parker, 1-2-3. Candelaria went by Collins, Morgan, Concepcion in a hurry.
And it looked like Candelaria was more right than I, for one, thought he would be.
Frankly, those first few pitches, especially the one to Collins and the first to Morgan that were over their heads, I thought, uh-oh, that back is bothering him. But he settled down, he came back, and Jack, I think that's important for him to have that good first inning.
And Tom Seaver also has been plagued with a bad back. Willie Stargell will be the first man up against him. Stargell, 281, 32 homers, 82 RBIs, one of many, many players in the National League who will be drawing attention to themselves during the voting for the most valuable player. That vote's going to be split many directions, Jerry.
I couldn't pick it. You know, you got Stargell, you got our own Dave Winfield. You have so many outstanding players. Dave Concepcion right here, even the Johnny Bench. They're all over the place.
And Keith Hernandez of the Cardinals. Here's the pitch to Stargell. Spins out of the way of an inside pitch. Ball 1. We're in the second inning, no score. Capacity crowd here at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Stargell waits, swings, fouls it out of play, off to the left. 1 ball, 1 strike. They play him deep, and they play him to ball. The Reds don't shift against him as drastically as some other clubs do. They leave Concepcion on the third base side of second. The pitch to Stargell, leading off, swings and doesn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Looks like Seaver is challenging him.
Tom Seaver this year has not finished as many games as he would like, enough of them, but they've got a pretty good bullpen here in Cincinnati, and they'll be ready to go if needed.
Seaver brings it in. Stargell hits the breaking ball out of play off to the left. Willie was able to keep that bat back long enough to spoil an off-speed delivery. 1 and 2 on Stargell. Milner will follow, and then Bill Madlock.
Complete games almost even. Cincinnati has 27, Pittsburgh 24. That's not an awful lot, so that means you got to go to your bullpen often.
Stargell strikes out, and Seaver kept that off-speed pitch down and gets his first strikeout.
Stargell is one of those guys that occasionally will guess that he was looking for a fastball. He got a low curveball, and he was swinging when the ball left Seaver's hand. He couldn't handle it. I'm not sure it was a strike.
The batter is John Milner. Left-handed batter, long time of the Mets. 16 home runs as a part-time performer. And a ranked full hitter. The first pitch coming. Off-speed breaking ball, low ball 1.
That's one I have not seen from Tom Seaver. It looked like a blooper pitch. Maybe he's coming up with something new.
Not this early in the ball game, ordinarily. He comes in firing. There's a pop-up on the infield. It's a foul ball, and it is Dreesen, and he wants it for the out. Bench wanted him to take it all the way because John was in an awkward position, and he kept yelling to Dreesen to get it. There are 2 out. And the batter is Madlock. Well, I saw Seaver pitch his no-hitter here in Riverfront Stadium a year ago. The only one in his illustrious career. He's had 5 shutouts this season. As we mentioned earlier, he won 11 in a row at 1 point. Madlock hitting .298. Started the season with the Giants, and what a big pickup he was for these Pirates. Foul right back here, strike 1.
Every now and then, Jack, you get a man who is the missing link. I remember Red Chandies with Milwaukee back in the 50s. Fit in at second base and made the ball club. Madlock has made it here at third.
Seaver brings it in to Madlock, and a little tap to the left side. That might be trouble. Knight won't throw him out. It is a base hit from Madlock. The first of the night as he topped the ball down the line. Knight was playing rather deep. And a base hit for Bill Madlock, the first of the evening for either club, and Ed Ott, the left-handed hitting catcher, will come to the plate.
Madlock, the number 2 man running for the Pittsburgh Pirates, 32 stolen bases. He's a little squatty guy, but he can go. So you got to watch him. And Seaver, though, knows how to hold men on.
Seaver does not have a particularly good move, but he'll step off the rubber. He'll quick pitch the batter. He'll pay a lot of attention to the runner, and then everybody knows what Bench can do in the throwing department. That's one of the reasons I think the Reds are going to win this entire thing. I don't think guys like Madlock and Garner and the others are going to be able to steal the bases against Bench and the Reds. To be sure, Moreno is going to steal them against anybody.
Well, they've got the natural setup right now. Left-hand batter, 2 down. What can you lose?
Madlock on at first with 2 out. Ed Ott, the batter. He hit 7 home runs. The outfield is straight away. The pitch coming. It's the ball low outside. Dreesen holding at first against the runner. The infielders are playing out to pull. The outfielders are playing straight away. It's a peculiar alignment. Madlock is going. The pitch coming outside. The throw is too late. A stolen base. It was in the dirt, and Madlock swiped it. Bench had plenty of time. Made a bad throw.
He certainly did. It was into the runner, and no chance for Concepcion to make the play. But this is Chuck Tanner all over. If he gets a chance to run, he will go. In a spot like that, a left-hand hitter. 2 out. If he's thrown out, you start out with Ott, and then you got the next batter, Garner, to go with it. So the gamble was one that was almost calculated and had to be taken.
Gary Coleman talking about the left-handed hitter. It makes it that much more difficult for that catcher to throw the ball. He's got to shift to the outside. Bench was in great throwing position, but just made a bad throw. And Ed Ott could deliver the first run of the night. Seaver has a base open, and Phil Garner up next. The pitch swung on, missed. High fastball, 2 balls and a strike.
Another tremendous advantage with a runner at first and a left-hand batter. That runner's got 2 steps on the catcher before he even knows he's going. He's blind.
Runner leads the way at second. Ed Ott, a half swing. He went around, and that's strike 2, 2 and 2. Well, Seaver's coming right after Ed out. He has the base open, but he figures he can get this guy out. Out batted 273. Madlock, an infield hit and a stolen base. He's at second, 2 outs. Second inning, no score. First game between the Pirates and the Reds. Hot calls time, as Seaver took too much time. We'll be on the air tomorrow, right after 3 o'clock Eastern Time, with the second game of this playoff series. Seaver brings it in, hot. Took it outside. Ball 3. And then the American Leaguers get it underway with the Angels at Baltimore. And game time is 8:15 Eastern Time here on CBS Radio. Seaver on a 3-2 count. 3-2 pitch. Swinging a foul tip. Strikeout. Finch had the ball go out of his glove, popped into the air, and he grabbed it, and you don't see that very often. You got to be quick. The second strikeout for Seaver as he gets out. The Pirates get a hit, and they leave a man. George Foster will lead it off in the Cincinnati second after an inning and a half. The score is the Pirates nothing, Cincinnati nothing.
Arkwright Boston, a most unusual insurance company, wants you to consider this. Right now, your company could be sitting on top of a time bomb, one that could blow you right out of business. Because today's complex centralized boiler and machinery equipment is more vulnerable than ever to the effects of improper maintenance and operating procedures. In fact, last year alone, time ran out for hundreds of U.S. corporations. The costs in terms of damaged equipment, downtime, and lost revenue came to hundreds of millions of dollars. As one of America's largest loss prevention insurers, Arkwright Boston is out to defuse this situation. Our engineers make periodic, detailed inspections of our insured's boiler and machinery equipment. And, through the Factory Mutual Resource Center, we provide educational materials for proper maintenance and operations. In fact, no one can do more to stop boiler and machinery losses than we can. Arkwright Boston. We do it better because we do it right.
Let's pause 5 seconds for the stations to identify themselves on the CBS Radio Network.
We give you the business 28 times each weekday on News Radio 78, WBBM Chicago.
Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, where the first 2 games of this 1979 Championship National League playoff will be held. And then on to Pittsburgh once again. Thursday will be a day off, and then Friday in Pittsburgh, Saturday and Sunday if needed. And the way things are going, many feel this could go all the way to 5 games. The speculators are saying Pittsburgh has the edge. Tom Seaver, a tough customer, and he did something to Ed Ott you've rarely seen in 1979. He went back to that hard stuff like he had in 69. He challenged him, blew it by him, and got him. Johnny Bench coming up with a great save for that final strikeout to end that inning.
Well, here's the former most valuable player in the National League, George Foster, to lead it off. This fellow missed 40 games because of a groin injury. Nonetheless, ended with 30 home runs, 98 RBIs, hit .302. Foster, a right-handed batter against the lefty John Candelaria. Candelaria has allowed a lot of home runs during the season. And when Foster hits them, he leaves no doubt about it. How many did Candelaria allow, Jerry?
Well, the number says 25 right there. He's ahead of Blyleven with 21. That's a lot for 2 starters.
Foster looks at a strike call at the knee. The crowd thought it was low. We're underway in the second inning, no score. George Foster takes it inside. 1-1. You got to keep that ball in on Foster. And when you're trying to do that, you better not make a mistake and get it out over the plate. You got to drive him off the plate. They play a little to the left and very deep. He swings, grounds it to short. Foley charges it, gets it, throws right on to Stargell. Candelaria is set down 4 in a row. The Cincinnati ball club is a bit vulnerable to left-handed pitching, if it's good left-handed pitching.
More so when they had Ken Griffey here and Cesar Geronimo, who were starting in those days. Geronimo now has been platooning in the outfield with Heidi Cruz, and of course we have a switch hitter, Collins, who can go either way. But I think some of that has been reduced. Morgan is the guy who was a big man many years ago and a few years back who does not have the problem.
Bench takes the ball outside. Johnny hit 22 home runs during the year, 80 RBIs. He's the kind of fellow who rises to the occasion. You would expect him to be a force in this playoff series. Crowd trying to get something started. No score. Second inning. Next pitch. Bench swings a foul ball down into left field. High in the air. Out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. One thing about Bench, no matter how good he's going, no matter how poorly he's going, most of the time he's right down at the end of the bat and pumping away.
That last pitch by Candelaria, a near disastrous mistake, a changeup that he hung up there, and Bench got out a little bit too far.
With 1 out, Bench looks at a strike, and Candelaria painted the corner, low and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ray Knight will be the next batter. The Reds looking for their first base runner. Pittsburgh has the game's only hit. Next delivery. Swing a long one to deep left center field. Way back, and at the wall it is. Up against the wall. It'll be a double for Bench, and he might try for 3. He will with 1 out. There'll be no play. He's at third base with 1 out, and he missed the home run by about a foot. Jack, I thought it was gone when it went off the bat. It was a low, streaming line drive about 30 feet to the right, the outfield side, the center field side of the 375 mark. It was just too low. Had he raised it that much, it was gone. He hit a screamer, a line drive off the boards in left center between the 375 and the 404 mark. He got that extra base when the ball rebounded past Moreno, and that's a big extra base with 1 out. It gives Ray Knight a chance to drive him home. Knight drove in 79 runs after taking over at third base when Rose departed. The infielders come in a couple of steps for a possible play at the plate. They are not all the way in. The outfield is straight away. Knight crouches at the plate. Wants at least a fly ball. The pitch. Swing and a ground ball foul makes Bench skip the rope as he runs the bases.
Ray Knight is a remarkable hitter, Jack, and the standpoint he's one of those inside-out hitters, and yet he can flip that bat around and pull it from time to time. Generally, a hitter like that goes straight up the middle. Pittsburgh is playing them wide open. They're a little toward the line and right and left, giving them the alleys in left center and right center.
Bench at third with 1 out. Second inning, no score. Candelaria on the mound. Ray Knight at the plate, the pitch. Swing and a miss. A late swing. He tried to hold up. He went around, and that's strike 2. The crowd thought that he had stopped the swing, but the bat had gone completely over the plate. And Candelaria would love the strikeout. Bench at third with 1 out. Here's the pitch. On the way. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He chased the bad ball.
Jack, a remarkable bit of work by Candelaria. That's what you want. You want a pop-up or a strikeout. When they make contact, the ball is in play. It could score the run. In this case, he got what he had to get the strikeout. Now a fly ball will not score a runner. They got to have a base hit.
The Reds need a hit from Dan Dreesen, a left-handed hitting first baseman. He drove home 75 runners this year. His average dropped down to 250. The infielders dropped back with 2 out, and they played Dreesen to pull just a bit. The first pitch is made, and it's a ball low and away. They have a lesser hitter coming up next for the Reds than Heidi Cruz. So Dreesen is not going to get very much good to hit. Hangs in there rather well against left-handed pitching. Bench at third, 2 out. Here's the pitch on the way. And that's a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dreesen is a remarkable product in baseball. He walked out of Hilton Head, South Carolina, and said, hey, I'd like to play. And they were glad to sign him up. They got a 300 hitter a couple of years. He's tailed off the last season or so, but he's a remarkable man anyway.
Here he comes, and it's a ball low and away, and a good play by Ed Ott, the catcher. And the Reds would settle for a wild pitch right here to get that run home. There's no doubt, no matter how many years these individuals have played, they've got the yips here tonight until they get settled in along about this point of the ballgame. No score, second inning, Bench at third, 2 out. Dreesen takes the strike call, the breaking ball on the corner. He turns around in disgust. It's 2-2, and Candelaria is really sharp.
He's got a tremendous curveball. The first 2 and the one that Ovid saved him with was a breaking curve that almost went, 3 feet outside. Outstanding play to save the run.
2-2 delivery on the way. And a foul as he got that ball up and in, and it hit the bat. Candelaria jammed the hitter, and Dreesen had trouble getting out of the way. Fouled the ball. Foster grounded out. Bench tripled off the wall in left center. Knight struck out. Dreesen has a 2-2 count. The tall lefty kicks and fires, and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Well, Candelaria went to work with that runner at third and 1 out, and he fanned 2. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left after 2 innings. The Pirates nothing, Cincinnati nothing.
True Value Hardware Store's October bargain of the month is something you'll want to keep close at hand, but hopefully never use. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you it's the Kidda All-Purpose Home Fire Extinguisher for just $7.44 from True Value Hardware Stores. It's UL rated 1A, 10B, C to fight all 3 classes of household fires. It includes paper, wood and cloth, burning liquids, cooking fats, and gasoline, in addition to live electrical fires. And because the Kidda Home Fire Extinguisher is rated for all classes of household fires, you can keep one for protection in the kitchen, workshop, or garage. Get the Kidda All-Purpose Home Fire Extinguisher for just $7.44 as the October bargain of the month, while supplies last at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers. And save gas. You won't have to drive far for your hardware and houseware needs. If you're looking for values, service, and selection, you'll find them nearby at any one of the more than 5,000 True Value Hardware Stores and home centers nationwide.
Jerry Coleman and Jack Buck with you here on CBS Radio. Jerry, there's a good half inning for John Candelaria. He's okay.
I'll tell you one thing. When Bench tripled, it looked like the Reds had a run. But Candelaria did the one thing you can't defend against. He struck out the next 2 men. Ray Knight has had a big year, over 300. Greason, though, was a sitting duck with that left-hander. He threw that curveball and ripped 2 fastballs by him, and that turned it around. So Candelaria, when he had to have it, early in the ball game, stopped him, and that's important.
Jerry Coleman had been broadcasting the games for the San Diego Padres in recent years, and then took the job as manager. Boy, you really surprised a lot of people, Jerry.
I surprised myself, Jack. In fact, it was a surprise that the job was offered. I'm delighted to accept it. I think that there's a growth program out there. I think we have a young ball club. We have some outstanding pieces, and we're trying to find the rest.
Here's Phil Garner to lead off in the 3rd inning of a scoreless ball game. Tom Seaver on the mound. Garner, a pretty good number 8 hitter to have.
I'd say he may be the best in baseball.
298 batter, the first pitch coming. Low and away. Ball 1. Garner has hit 11 home runs during the season. You give him a high fastball, and he'll lose it on you. Play him a bit to the opposite field. The pitch is made. Garner takes ball 2, skips away from Bench. And you can see Seaver working at keeping that ball down to this guy.
Little human interest here on that Pirate bench. Dale Berra, the son of the great Yogi Berra, who's probably been a more World Series game than any man in history.
Here's the pitch, a swing and a fly ball into the right field corner. That ball's trouble. It might go. That ball is gone. A home run for Phil Garner, his 12th of the year. Opposite field power, and the Pirates get a run out of their number 8 hitter and lead 1-0.
Jack, when you get into a playoff series, whether it's a World Series, a championship series, whatever it is, there's a little extra juice flowing. The adrenaline is working. Garner has it all going. He's got that extra juice, and he got that fastball out and away and popped it.
The pitch to Candelaria, who's not a bad hitter, a left-handed batter, strike 1 call. Yes, sir, it looked like a fastball up and away, and Garner drilled it over the fence and right. Here's a strike call to Candelaria. Strike 2. Seaver during the year allowed 16 home runs. That's a rather ordinary number. And the Pirates lead 1-0. Candelaria strikes out, and that's number 3 on the evening for Seaver, who will take on Omar Moreno. One thing about that number 8 spot, the batting order of the Pirates, you get through guys like Parker, Stargell, Milner, Madlock. You might have a tendency to relax a little bit, not saying that Seaver did, but frequently Garner profits from that. The pitchers let up a little bit, think they're out of the woods, and wham.
People tend to discount the number 8 hitter. He's a very vital man in that lineup simply because there are times when you want him to walk to get up there and get the pitcher out of the way. You don't get a lot of good pitches with that pitcher behind you.
Moreno grounded to short his first time, swings, and there's a base hit to right. And it skips to the wall, and he's going to get 3 bases. Moreno heads for second as Cruz backs up the play. Gets it back in. Moreno's at third with 1 out. Collins challenged the ball and did so a little too aggressively. He couldn't get to it. The ball hit the wet turf and zipped by him. He had no chance to catch it and little chance to block it.
Collins gambled and lost, and the gamble was very, well, as you mentioned, unnecessary. He really had no chance to catch the ball. An unusual play by Dave Collins. It might be a little bit more aggressive because of the playoff. That was a ball he should have stopped.
I think he should have backed up and played it on the long hop. The infield comes in. Seaver has to go to work on Foley. Foley with a goodly number of RBIs for a fellow who bats second. He has 65. The infield in. It is a ball inside. Moreno at third, one out. He'll try to score on most anything. Joel on net talks to him. Foley a good bunter. Chance for a squeeze play. The pitch coming. A swing and a miss. Threw it by him. A ball and a strike. Joel on net flashes the signs, coaching at third. Pirates have scored here in the third inning. Lead 1-0 on the Garner homer. Runner at third, one out. Here's the pitch. Foley swings. Fly ball to right. That'll get the run home. It's a fair ball caught by Collins, and Moreno trots home. It is 2-0 Pittsburgh, and Foley got the job done.
Tim Foley, I don't know what to say about him. They say he can't do this, he can't do that, can't run, throw, field, whatever. All he can do is win for you, and he is a man that'll do the job when you need it most. They wanted a fly ball. They got it at 2-0.
And there are 2 men out. The batter is Dave Parker. So the gamble by Collins has cost Cincinnati a run. And it's 2-0. What those who were rooting for Cincinnati were counting on was for Seaver to beat the Pirates here tonight, and he may yet, of course, as early. And also beat him again the next time he works. But if the Pirates beat Seaver, the Reds are in trouble. With 2 out, Parker looks at a ball. It was high. Parker grounded sharply to first his first time up. Outfield deeper onto the right. Here it comes from Tom, and a swing and a miss by Parker. 1 ball, 1 strike. Parker, as we mentioned earlier, is from the city of Cincinnati. So he's playing in front of the hometown folks. Pittsburgh leading 2-0 third inning. Triple by Moreno, a fly ball by Foley. Seaver goes to work. Parker takes a breaking ball in the dirt, ball 2. Parker finished the season with a 9-game hitting streak. 29 out of his last 39, so he got hot at the right time. With the bases empty, he jumps back from a ball, and it's 3-1. The Fire Ball Club's an aggressive club. You don't even have to think about it twice on 2-0 or 3-1. They are pumping. Parker, swing and a foul back into the seats at 3-2.
All you have to do is look at the base on balls, and no one over 67. That happens to be Parker. They're all under that because, as you mentioned, Jack, if anything is around the plate, they go to the split one, and they really do it.
They never stop coming after you. Parker with 2 out, a swing and another foul back into the upper deck. In this inning, Phil Garner led off with a home run. After Candelaria fanned, Moreno slammed one into right field. Collins tried to block the ball. Got by him for a triple. Foley hit a sacrifice fly, and now Parker swings and fouls a bad pitch away. It's still 3-2. That would have been ball 4. He chased it, fouled it. He's still up there. Stargell on deck. Fun to bring you baseball here on CBS Radio, the National League playoffs. Ernie Harwell and Bill White will be going to work tomorrow evening at 8:15. Eastern time from Baltimore, where the Angels are playing. Parker walks, jumps back from ball 4. Seaver thought he had him struck out, but the plate umpire didn't give him the corner.
Jack Parker's the kind of a guy that has a pretty discerning eye, although not as much as some that you may find, like a Gene Tennis or Mike Schmidt, who get 100 walks a year. One thing, though, you did bring up, and it's so vital. If Seaver does not make it tonight, Cincinnati's pitching could be in total disarray. They're going to a rookie, Frank Pastore, after that, Mike Lacoste. Pastore's been hot, but he is still not a full season big leaguer. He's never been there for a full year, and Lacoste has had a lot of trouble coming down to the wire.
Parker a short lead. Willie Stargell at the plate. Ball 1. Parker is a threat to steal, but with Stargell up there, he may not be trying. Stargell struck out his first time up. Swings and hits it foul past first. Chased a bad ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Cincinnati crowd has been quieted a little bit by the Pirate runs. 2 runs on 3 hits. Parker on at first with 2 outs. Stargell takes it high, a fastball, ball 2. Parker draws the throw. He's back. No tag by Dreesen. Seaver to the belt. Brings it in, and Stargell looks at it outside. 3-1. On deck, another left-handed batter, John Milner. These Pirates can get that old merry-go-round going and have a big inning. Parker at first, not going. Stargell takes ball 4 and joins Parker on base. Finch talks it over with the plate umpire Kibler. Still talking to him.
Well, you would say that maybe they were pitching around Parker, but not Parker and Stargell. Things then get into a problem. Here comes Bill Fisher, the pitching coach, and it looks like the Cincinnati bullpen is going to start to loosen up as John Milner, who can hit it over the wall, steps in there. So Pittsburgh having all the best of it, and it looks as though Manny Sarmiento is the man that's running down there to do the thing, a right-hander who used in middle relief, and that's from the 3rd inning to the 6th inning.
There's been a triple, a home run, and 2 walks in this inning. To go with a 2nd inning base hit by Matlock. And Milner could really make it comfortable for the Pirates. He fouled out his first time up. Left-handed hitting outfielder. By the way, he's really improved in the outfield and at first base since his days with the Mets. 2 on, 2 out. The pitch on the way. Milner takes the ball outside, and Seaver doesn't seem anxious to come to these left-handed batters.
Tom may feel his fastball isn't good enough. He got popped pretty good by both Marino and Garner.
Here's a high pop-up by Milner. Looks like he got out of it. Morgan is out calling for it. Everybody running with 2 outs. There's the catch, and the inning is over. Milner pops out, but the Pirates score 2 runs. On only 2 hits. They leave 2. They've stranded 3. We're in the middle of the 3rd inning. The score is now Pittsburgh 2, the Reds nothing.
Attention! The skill drill team.
By the right drill.
Skill.
By the right drill.
Skill.
Be the light drill.
Skill.
When you got holes in your plan,
You put the power in your hand.
don't try to find no cordless drill.
And have the power to match our skill.
Do it with skill.
Do it with skill. The skill cordless drill for power, endurance, and 2-speed control. Do it with skill.
Today's man, he lives with today's technology, and he expects today's razor blade to be made sharp, to shave close, so he helps protect his face with today's Rise. Rise is thicker than the leading foam. Rise helps protect your skin against blade irritation. For today's close shave, get today's rich, thick Rise. Helps protect your skin against blade irritation. Get today's thick Rise.
Terry Coleman, you were talking earlier about these Pirates, and they're a vastly different club than they were at the start of the year. They've added to their bench. Then they got Matlock at 3rd. They put Foley at shortstop. Earlier, we had Garner playing 3rd, Garner playing 2nd, Bill Robinson playing 3rd, playing the outfield, playing first base. Once Matlock came over, they had an entirely different left side of their infield, and I concur with you about Tim Foley. What a ball player he's turned out to be. He ended up with a winner, and he's played like a winner.
Yeah, there are many intangibles, as you know, Jack. You've watched it in basketball and football and baseball for many, many years, and there are those that we call winners and those who have great talent who never win. In this case, Foley is a winner. Also, with the advent of Matlock and Foley, it stabilized the infield, and the only 2 positions now that they shift around, Ott behind the plate with Nicosia, the catcher, and Bill Robinson and Milner in left field, so they've eliminated a lot of juggling.
Here we go into the Cincinnati 3rd with Heidi Cruz, a right-handed hitting outfielder playing center field, leading it off against John Candelaria. He's allowed only 1 hit in 2 innings, and Cruz swings and fouls it back, strike 1. Cruz hit surprisingly well after joining the Reds.
I think it's important to remember, too, the Reds are an explosive ball club. Unless they get buried here, they're in this thing right from the beginning to the end.
Candelaria with a 2-run lead goes to work. Cruz takes the ball. It's low. Cruz was with the Giants, not playing at all. Thought perhaps at the trading deadline, June 15th, that he'd leave, but he stayed. Then later on a waiver deal, came over to Cincinnati. Leading off, he fouls it back, and Cruz is in the hole, 1-2. His brother Jose plays with the Houston club, which came so very close. They didn't drop out of it until the final week. That Atlanta club was tough to beat in the final stages of the race. Candelaria pitches, Cruz swings and fouls the ball out of play. One thing about the past season, Jerry, I was really proud of this game. The integrity of the game was upheld to the highest. Cardinals went into Pittsburgh and beat them. The Cubs went into Pittsburgh and played just as hard as they could. Other clubs were knocking off the contenders, and nobody could point a finger at anybody. Cruz leading off here, swings and a high fly ball, easy for Parker and right. He's under it, and one out.
The classic was the Houston-Atlanta doubleheader where Houston had to win. And here's the last place Atlanta Braves in the National League West. They knocked them off a doubleheader and in effect eliminated them. That was the classic of all, because you go into Atlanta, you figure, well, as the club we're going to beat, we have to beat, and we'll do it. In this case, Atlanta played the spoiler to a fairly well.
Tom Seaver can swing the bat. He had 12 hits during the year, and against the left-hander like Candelaria, you'd suspect that Seaver would have a chance. He looks to strike a pretty good fastball from John Candelaria. Candelaria looks right. He came around and got well at the right time. He brings it. Seaver takes it and fouls it, and it's strike two. Went off the bat into the glove, strike two. The left-hander takes off the cap and mops his brow with his shirt sleeve. Pirates wearing the gold trousers, black shirts trimmed in gold, gold caps. Seaver strikes out on a bad ball blown away, and that's the third strikeout for the Pirates southpaw. He will now face Dave Collins.
Was it only yesterday that Tom Seaver walked in at Anaheim as a rookie right-hander with the New York Mets and pitched a brilliant part of that extra inning all-star game out there? He's going to be 35 in a few months. It's hard to believe.
What a great career he's had. Collins popped out his first time up. Switch hitter, batting right, takes the strike. No matter what Collins does in this playoff. The Reds, without Ken Griffey, are a lesser baseball club.
Griffey has speed and power, and is an outstanding outfielder. Collins has been a tremendous reserve.
He swings, hits it up the middle, and second baseman Garner gets it, but can't foul out. It's a base hit for Collins. Garner couldn't get anything on the throw. He might have had a little more time to make the play than he thought he had, but in any event, Collins gets an infield hit with 2 outs.
One of the pluses of Dave Collins is his tremendous speed. I don't think people realize that. He hit .318. He's not a man that steals all that many bases. He got 16. But going from home plate to first, Jack, he can do it with anybody. He just did it then.
He ran the 100-yard dash in high school right around 10 flat. He calls time. The batter is Joe Morgan. Morgan's the kind of guy with one swing of the bat could tie this one up. Candelaria, by the way, we mentioned it before, allowed 25 home runs during the year. 2-0, the Pirates leading. We're in the bottom of the third. Collins on at first with 2 outs. Candelaria throws ball one, dropped down a little bit, came sidearm to Morgan.
Jack, I've noticed that with Candelaria this evening. I don't know whether he's had any arm problems. I know he has had a back problem, but he has come from the side more tonight than he has in the past.
The pitch, swing and a ground ball right at Garner. It gets a big hop, throws him out to Stargell. Morgan is 0 for 2, and the Reds have them blanked over the first 3 innings on 2 hits. In that inning, a hit by Collins, and 1 man left. Cincinnati is stranded 2. And after 3 innings of play, Pittsburgh 2, Reds nothing.
Grace Cotton of Lincoln, Nebraska, tells how Western Union came to the rescue.
My daughter was part away from home, ready straight for classes, and they wouldn't take the credit card she had. They wanted cash. So she called home, and she said, what'll I do? Well, I just called Western Union and sent her a money order.
To send money, call Western Union toll-free and charge it to your MasterCharge or Visa account. Day or night, it's Western Union to the rescue.
I sent the money order right from home. I was very impressed.
A message from the CBS television network. Harry Truman said it best, the buck stops here. The American presidency has been called the world's toughest job, covering it's a non-stop challenge. That's why the president doesn't make a move without Robert Pierpoint, Leslie Stahl, and Lee Thornton. CBS News White House team, Washington, or anywhere around the world.
Cronkite and Company, only on the CBS Evening News.
Well, this may be a key inning for Tom Seaver, who in the third gave up a home run to Phil Garner, leading off the inning. He gave up a one-out triple to Omar Marino and a fly ball by Tim Foley that scored it from third. And Bucks are ahead 2-0, so Seaver, going into the fourth inning, did not have a good third inning. Whether or not he is going downhill, his arm is starting to give ground, we're going to find out right now.
And the first man up against him will be Bill Medlock. He got a base hit and stole a base his first time up. A little roller down the line at third. Ray Knight couldn't get to it. It's Knight at third, Concepcion at short, Morgan at second, Dreesen at first. Bench behind the plate. And an outfield of Foster, Cruz, and Collins. Manlock the batter. First pitch to him, swinging a high pop-up. He didn't get around on that fastball. Morgan goes into the outfield, is under it, and one out.
Jack, you mentioned earlier one of the hitters up there where they have the outfield to the left and the infield to the right, where they split their defense. This comes from churning hitters, and, you know, they're more refined these days. They have somebody taking account of every batter, where he hits the ball, and what pitch. And they'll find that a man will hit the ball in the air one way and on the ground the other way. So we see the split defenses more now than we ever did in the past.
Ed Ott is at the plate, the catcher. The ball one is in the dirt. Ott fanned his first time. Next pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-1. A lot of swinging strikes against Seaver, indicative of the fact that he does have good stuff, despite the 3 hits. The second run the Pirates scored could very well have been avoided. Misplay by Collins in the outfield. Here is ball 2 outside. 2-1.
Jack Buck, the speed of the ball is important, but location is even more so. And the good hard fastball comes right down the horn. Look out.
2 balls and a strike. The pitch. Low, ball 3. Seaver walked 2 left-handed batters in the last inning. And then got Milner, and the runners were left on. With 1 out, Ed Ott swings, fouls it, 3-2. Back into the seats. He got jammed and wrapped it off to the left side. Garner will be up there next. An unlikely-looking hitter, Garner is, but he can hit.
Pretty good wrestler, too. Felix Millan found out about him.
The pitch to Ott, the swing, and a foul. Yeah, Felix Millan tangled with Ed Ott, the Pirate catcher, and we haven't seen him any more, have we?
I think he retired. He slam dunked him at second base, and that was the end of Felix, and it was unfortunate, but it was something.
Ott's a toughie. At the plate, he swings, grounds it through the hole. That's a base hit. Seaver tried to jam him, couldn't quite get the ball in far enough, and Ott picks up the 4th Pirate hit. And Garner is the batter, 1 on, 1 out.
That was a play that Joe Morgan would have made had he been playing a normal second base. He was looking for Ott to hit the ball up the middle and to the left side, and he hit a normal ground ball a little bit into the hole on the right side, but Joe was so far out of position he just couldn't flag it down.
Ott's one of the few in the Pirate lineup who doesn't steal bases. He hasn't stolen any.
He's going to drum him out of the core.
He's on at first with 1 out. Dreesen holds against him. Seaver bluffed a throw over there, gets back on. There's a line drive to center. Cruz, right in his tracks, makes the catch. The runner back to first with 2 out. Garner, who homered his first time, it's a line drive right at Heidi Cruz. And Candelaria is up.
Whatever Seaver is throwing Garner, he's reading him very well. And it's possible that some hitters can read a pitcher through instincts more than knowing exactly what's coming.
He sure has hit the ball hard twice. There's a ground ball to the left side. Concepcion gets it and throws to first in time as he bounced it over there. Concepcion went in the hole, was in a nasty throwing position, and bounced it over there to Dreesen in time for the out.
Jack, that was brilliant, and give Dan Dreesen some credit for coming up with it. I don't know how Concepcion threw the ball that far, that hard to get him, but he did.
There's nothing wrong with that bounced throw either. If you throw the ball over the head of the first baseman, why, he can't help you at all. in the fourth inning for Pittsburgh. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. They've stranded 4. The Reds come to bat. Concepcion will lead it off. And in the middle of the fourth inning, Pittsburgh 2, Cincinnati nothing.
Here's to the auto mechanics who keep us on the road.
This much for you. You're working hard all day just like you always do.
Yeah, we own the station together, and 50-50 partnership. Well, it's auto repair service. We do roam repairs and we do gas. Gasoline's a necessary evil. But it also brings a lot of people in. When you got a small business like this, you have to do it yourself or get out of it. You make your mistake, then you pay for them yourself, because our problems are our own and we can't blame anyone else for them now. But if you treat it as a business and not try to take it home with you at night, then you'll get along with the business a lot better.
This much for you.
Yeah, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
All during the week and over the weekend, CBS Radio's top sportscasters bring you timely and lively information on what's happening. Win Elliott, Brent Musburger, Ron Weber, Spencer Ross, Howard David, and Pat Summerall. Hear them on CBS, your #1 radio network for sports. And right here at Riverfront Stadium at Cincinnati, we're moving into the bottom of the fourth inning. The Reds are coming up, and they are trailing 2-0. Something is developing here, Jack Buck, that I'm going to comment on. Tom Seaver has given up only 2 runs, but after that second inning, he has had some fairly good line drive plastered here and there. In fact, the drive hit by Garner to center field, had it found an alley, would have scored the runner out from first base. So it's possible that Tom may not be at peak form right now in the third and fourth inning. He has not pitched as well as he can.
We'll be back here tomorrow afternoon for the second game and on the air on CBS Radio right after 3 o'clock Eastern Time. And then at 8:15 Eastern Time, Ernie Harwell and Bill White will be in Baltimore for the first game between the Angels and the Orioles. Next Monday night here on CBS Radio, Hank Stram and I will be in Oakland. The game is at 9 o'clock Eastern Time with the Miami Dolphins playing there. Concepcion leads off. Grounded to short his first time. That's against Candelaria, who hasn't walked anybody. Fan 3 allowed 2 hits. Concepcion shows the bunt and takes the ball. Pirate infield is Madlock, Foley, Garner, and Stargell. Ott behind the plate. Milner in left, Moreno in center, Parker in right. The pitch to Concepcion is a ball 2. And the crowd reacts. Concepcion had 16 home runs this past season. He was swinging for the fences a little bit more. Candelaria wants to throw a strike. A swing and a ground ball. Base hit through the hole into left. Concepcion picks up the third hit, and that's really important with George Foster coming up.
More than that, right behind him, Johnny Bench, who nearly laid one out of here with a triple in the second inning. So they're sending the big guns up there with speed at first base, Foster, Bench, and Knight.
Foster grounded to short his first time. Concepcion will be held at first by Stargell. Look where Moreno's going out in center field. He's out in the river.
I was looking at the outfield. Milner in left, Moreno in center, Parker in right. There's nobody that can see them except the people in the bleachers.
Foster waits. He hit 30 during the season. The runner going, a swing all over left center. We've got a tie game. Wow, what a blast by Foster into the seats beyond the wall. That he pumped that ball.
The remarkable thing about a hitter like that, Jack Buck, no matter what you do, if you make one mistake, it can cost you. Candelaria has pitched brilliantly. He made a mistake to Bench. He made one to Foster. He got burned.
Wait till he hits one like that against San Diego next year.
It'll be inside the ballpark. That's the big ballpark out there. We're going to play somebody behind the wall.
This crowd is roaring as George Foster is tied. The totals are identical, 2-4-0 for each club. In the bottom of the fourth. Nobody out. Bench the batter. Trips tripled his first time, was left on. He takes a ball. Brother, did Foster hit that ball. As soon as he hit it, everybody in the ballpark knew it was gone. Bench takes a strike at the knees. 1-1.
I'm glad to see this with Candelaria. Generally, when a ball goes off the bat like that, it scares him right off the plate. The first one missed, but he came back.
The pitch, swing, and a foul back, and Bench had a Sunday cut at that one. We talked when Foster was up about how deep Moreno was playing in center field. He was still about 120 feet short of the ball. Bench in the hole. Candelaria delivers, and it's a ball. He just missed with that one. Bench was fooled on the pitch. Fortunately for him, it was out of the strike zone.
It was an excellent curveball. He went for the inside part of the plate, and the toughest thing for a right-hand hitter to do is to get a breaking ball at the fist breaking into him. It's hard to get that bat out there.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on or out. Bench a foul back into the seats.
Candelaria made a mistake.
And he got away with it as Bench fouled it back. 2-4-0 for each club, 4th inning. Can't get over the way the ball shoots off the bat of George Foster like nobody else in baseball.
For years it was Willie McCovey. Now it is George Foster, the most dangerous hitter in baseball.
Bench swings and rips it foul outside third base, up against the railing, back out into the field. You know, a lot of people have thought, really, that Foster was using a plugged bat with a chunk of lead or something in there. That's the way the ball reacts.
I don't know what it is, but whatever it takes, he's got it, and it goes.
He has homered here, following a base hit by Concepcion to tie the game in the 4th inning, and we've got a good one. Bench, another foul back here. Now, whereas Candelaria was throwing the ball by people earlier, they're fouling the ball off, and he might be losing a little bit.
Well, Johnny Bench found him for a triple in the 2nd inning, but he came back to get Knight and Dreesen on strikes, and that was a key part of the game at that moment. But he has lost something here.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a bouncer to third. Madlock gets it off his glove. It's a base hit. Or an error to Madlock. In any event, Bench is on with nobody out. I do not believe the lights bothered Madlock. They give Bench a hit, his 2nd of the ball game. Do you think that high bouncer got into the lights? I don't think so.
I don't think so, Jack. I think what happened was that Madlock realized he'd have a close play and tried to short arm it. That means going away from the ball with a glove to get it into your hand to throw a little bit too soon, and he lost it. He just took his eye off of it in an instant, and that's what it cost.
Don Robinson, a right-hander, goes down to the bullpen for Pittsburgh. And he starts to throw immediately. Candelaria checks Bench, pitches to Knight. A swing and a line drive foul down into left field into the corner. And that's why that pitcher is warming up in the Pirate bullpen. They're really getting to him now.
When you have a bad back, it can hit you just like that. It may have hit Candelaria. He, for whatever reasons, has lost much of what he had through the first 3 innings. The single by Concepcion was routine, but the shot by Foster was gargantuan. Bench hit the chopper. Knight's drive to left field, although foul, was blistered, so let's see what goes from here.
Bench is on at first with nobody out. Ray Knight struck out his first time up, swings and fouls it, trying to go to right, and that's strike 2. This crowd having fun here tonight, just as the crowd will have fun Friday afternoon in Pittsburgh. And folks around the country.
Jack,
paying attention to this playoff.
I was just going to say, speaking of crowds, in baseball it has less of a fact, the home field, than any other sport. It's about 53%. You know, basketball runs close to 70, and hockey, I guess, is up there. But baseball is about even. If you got the club, you can win anywhere.
Bench at first. Knight swings and chops it foul. And one of the reasons, of course, for the home club having the advantage is that they bat last. I know it sounds simple and silly, but a lot of people overlook that fact in baseball. And the game is played differently on the road by ball clubs than it is at home by the other team. Bench is on at first with nobody out. Ray Knight takes the ball inside. He's being very aggressive at the plate, flying into the ball, and Candelaria ran it in on him, ball 1. The home run by Foster was his 3rd in championship series play. It was one to remember. Bench at first, not running. Knight hits the double play ball to Garner, to Foley, and on to first base, and they got them both. I was talking to Tim Foley before the game. Jerry Coleman, being a former infielder, you'll appreciate this. I said, Tim, are you any different than you were when I saw you play with Montreal and the Mets? And by the way, there are two out here, nobody on base, and Dreesen is up. He said, no, I'm not. He said, but Garner is a new partner for me, and he's not a smooth infielder, and neither am I. He said, the two of us just rough it out down there. Here's Dreesen, a slow bouncer to Stargell. He traps the ball and tags Dreesen for the out to end the inning. But that double play combination of Foley and Garner, very aggressive, very effective.
You won't see it at the Bolshoi Ballet, but they get it done, and that's what counts.
And they reeled off a double play in that inning. And then Dreesen bounced out to Stargell unassisted. 2 runs on 3 hits for the Reds. Nobody left. And after 4 innings, we are tied. The Pirates 2, Cincinnati 2.
Take a good long look. Take a look at the cutlass over there. Cutlass watching. Take a good long look. Look at all that cutlass there. Take a good long look at the cutlass over there.
Look at the sticker.
Good price, huh?
Not bad. The mileage sticker, 19 miles per gallon.
That's got to be a misprint.
It's no misprint. Introducing Oldsmobile's 1980 Cutlass in 10 new models. Cutlass, with its available 4.3-liter V8, has the best V8 EPA gas mileage estimate of any car, 19 miles per gallon. Remember, use this EPA estimate for comparisons. Your actual mileage may differ. This engine is not available in California.
With 19 miles per gallon, why be a Cutlass watcher? Now, I'm a Cutlass owner.
It's a brand new ball game. If you missed the scoring in the 3rd inning, Pittsburgh was up there. Garner opened up with a home run over the right field wall. Marino tripled. He came in on a sacrifice by Tim Foley. 2-0 the Bucks. In the bottom of the 4th inning, Concepcion got a ground ball between 3rd and short. And then George Foster hit one that they may be talking about in the 21st century. That went over that center field wall. I don't know where it went, but it's still gone, and it's all even at 2.
That was nice of you to fill the people in who hadn't been here all evening.
Well, there are people that come and go, after all. I mean, you know, we want to pick them up. Those people who just are on their way to the store or coming back or, you know, we try to keep them abreast of things, Jack, just to let them know what's going on. After all, it is 6:45 out in San Diego, and a lot of those people may be just getting out of their cars and going into their homes.
And with all that, 2-4-0 for Pittsburgh, 2-5-0 for Cincinnati. Jerry Coleman, Jack Buck with you from Riverfront Stadium. Omar Marino takes a strike, and Tom Seaver should be pumped up a little bit by that offensive support.
I say who's pumped up, Ray Knight. He's sitting on top of Marino. If he hits one to him, he better be quick.
Marino has a hit and a run scored, takes a ball in the dirt, and it's 1-1, and it's eye-popping the way Johnny Bench can catch everything that comes to the plate.
He's one of the few catchers, Jack, who uses his catcher's glove like a fielder.
The pitch coming, and that's outside for a ball. Seaver has fanned 3, walked 2, allowed 4 hits. Pittsburgh got 2 in the 3rd. The Reds got 2 in the 4th. Marino, Foley, and Parker in this inning. And a ball outside. He's keeping that ball away from the left-handed hitters, and you can't pitch him out there all night.
Well, you can't pitch Marino out there all night. He'll be at first base.
He just slaps at the ball. And he can fly. The pitch. Swing and a ground ball to the left of the shortstop. Concepcion gets it through. Oh, a dandy play. What a play by Concepcion. What a play.
Jack, you can't do any better than that. It's a professional. He does it when he has to do it. No extra effort, no extra motion. He just made it, and it was a long spike. That was the difference.
It's been a good ball game, hasn't it?
Outstanding. Outstanding.
We've had run scoring and brilliant defensive play right there. Concepcion was roaring to his left when he got it and threw him out. Foley hits one to the left of Knight. Diving stop, knocks it down. No play. Base hit for Foley. Knight went to his left, and he did well to get to the ball and would have thrown him out had he fielded it cleanly, but it went off his glove for a base hit. And the hits are even at 5 apiece, and Parker comes up with 1 on, 1 out.
Rule of thumb, third baseman gets everything he can get, and that's to the left side. In that case, he may have upset a play by Concepcion because Foley is not one of the fastest men in all of baseball. David might have thrown him out had he had a chance to get to the ball.
Yeah, I agree. He was in fielding position, but Knight, by trying so hard, really messed it up. Parker is grounded to first and walks. Foley doesn't do much running. They play Parker deep around to the right. Seaver checks the runner, pitches. Parker fouls it back, strike one. Foley, for the year, has stolen 6 bases, that's all. Been thrown out 5 times.
Parker a year ago was the most valuable player and led the league 2nd year in a row. This year he came into spring training and into the season about 15 pounds overweight, and it cost him dearly. It took him about 4 months to get going.
Yeah, he made a mistake. There's no doubt about it. 1 on, 1 out. Parker takes a ball just inside. 1-1. And Seaver wants to know what's wrong with that pitch. He says something into John Kibler, the plate umpire. Foley with a short lead. The pitch a foul back into the seats, and Parker's in the hole 1-2. Does it seem to you when you were with the Padres that when you played the Pirates that Parker batted every inning?
Well, he's up there at the wrong time.
And he's always up in the 9th inning.
Always at the... And Stargell is right behind him, always at the wrong time. It's incredible.
Moreno is grounded to short. Great play by Concepcion. And then an infield hit by Foley. The pitch to Parker. Swing and a fly ball foul out of play down in the left field corner. Foster chases over there and nothing doing.
Jack, to accentuate what speed means, with a fellow like Foley or not, simply non-running players, your infielders sit back and they can concentrate totally on the hitter. When you've got a runner at first base, it upsets the pitcher, it upsets your defense in the infield, it's got everybody nervous. When you don't have that runner, it makes the game much easier, and therefore the speed of the Pittsburgh Pirates has been a big factor in their winning.
Seaver battling with Dave Parker. Foley at first with 1 out. The pitch coming. Swing and a foul. He chased the ball down and in. Hit it over into the Cincinnati dugout. Good thing for the Reds, Concepcion made that play ahead of the hit by Foley, or they'd be in a peck of trouble right here. Crowd out there in left field is making a lot of racket.
I think we're having the first discussion on who's the better team.
Some of the fans are getting involved out there in left center field. Maybe the ball hit by Foster just landing out there. The pitch coming. Parker takes it high. 2-2. George Foster in the Cincinnati fourth hit a home run that zoomed over the left center field fence, over the space behind the fence, higher than the left field wall behind the fence and into the seats. Hit it about 500 feet. 2-2 to Parker. The runner not going, and a foul again, and a ball down and in. That's where you have to pitch Parker to get him out. You have to jam him with that pitch.
One thing that's very noticeable with Tom Seaver, for many years, 200 strikeouts was his cup of tea. He had very few this year in comparison, 130, 35, or whatever. And I've noticed tonight that he's gone to breaking pitches more than ever before. A curveball, and he's tried to get it off the plate.
Another one to Parker coming. Swinging a foul, backing out of play. Back into the seats. Bouncing around in the midst of the capacity crowd. By the way, the University of Kentucky marching band, beautifully attired from Lexington, Kentucky, put on a great show before the game. Another pitch to Parker. Instead, a leisurely toss to first, and no tag by Dreesen.
I think Pittsburgh wants to prove a point. 1970, Cincinnati 3-0, 75 3-0, 71 3-1.
They've had their number. Here's a double play ball to Concepcion. Over to second. Morgan on the first. A double play for the Reds, and that was a beauty. Concepcion do it right. Gloved the ball, got rid of it to Morgan. Foley was right on top of him, but he made the relay.
2 pros in action. You can't do any better. It cut down whatever kind of a rally Pittsburgh was trying to put together.
And Parker doesn't hit into many double plays. No runs, 1 hit, a double play, nobody left. So the Reds come to bat in their 5th inning. They'll have Cruz, Seaver, and Collins up. Going in, it's Pittsburgh 2 and the Reds 2.
What in the world happened in October? Brought to you by your local Navy recruiter. The third oldest college in the United States, Yale University, was founded in October of 1701. The United States Navy celebrates its 204th anniversary in October. The U.S. Navy launched the frigate Constitution, also called Old Ironsides, in October of 1797. In October of 1802, the United States Patent Office was established. The Confederate legislature voted to secede from the Union in October of 1861. In October 1884, the U.S. Naval War College was established. The Statue of Liberty was dedicated in October of 1886. In October of 1927, the first sound newsreel was shown at the Roxy Theater in New York City. In October 1945, the United Nations Charter came into effect. That's what happened in October, brought to you by your local Navy recruiter. For information, call toll-free in the continental United States, 800-841-8000. In Georgia, 800-342-5855. Navy, it's not just a job, it's an adventure.
You're tuned to the right place. CBS, your number one radio network for sports. Throughout the day and night, we keep you up to the minute on what's happening. Many special features as well. For example, a pre-World Series broadcast this Monday, October the 8th. Win Elliott is the anchor man for a comprehensive rundown on World Series preview, interviewing players, managers, and coaches. It's coming up Monday on most of the CBS radio network stations.
Boy, this is a fun ball game. We're going to the bottom of the fifth. Pirates 2, Reds 2. Jerry Coleman, Jack Buck with you. Candelaria on the mound. Heidi Cruz at the plate. Left-handed pitcher, right-handed batter. And the ball one outside.
Heidi Cruz, as you know, Jack, was your third baseman over there, and he hit about 180, and they finally got rid of him. Now he's going to the outfield with much more success.
He's a threat. He bounces it to third. Madlock jumps, gets it, throws, close, out at first base. He made a play. Madlock had to leap for that bouncing ball. One hop to him, and then he took his time, and his arm has come around ever since he went back to third base from second. He was really wasted by the Giants, wasn't he?
He's a better player here than he was in San Francisco, and he was in Chicago. From what I've seen at third base of Bill Madlock, he looks like a fine, outstanding defensive player. In Chicago, he had a bad rap.
The batter receiver, they're not booing him. They're going at it again in the bleachers out there. Candelaria will pitch to Seaver, who steps out, distracted by the action out there. Tom fanned his first time. We're tied 2-2, bottom of the fifth, first game. Candelaria pitches, Seaver swings, grounds it to third. Madlock, a backhand stop. His throw is good. That ball looked like it was going to go in the dirt, and it just took off, indicative of the fact that his arm is sound.
One of the things that has happened in the National League, much more than the American, where they have fewer of the artificial fields, is the infielders get the best hop. Although they've got to be quick, it's on them in a hurry, but they don't get that wicked, unusual hop that you get on natural surface.
I've heard some people say, well, Del Maxwell is the guy I have in mind. He said anybody who kicks a ground ball that's hit right at him on this AstroTurf, no matter how hard it's hit, ought to go to jail.
Listen, there wouldn't be anybody playing. There'd be no infielders left.
There are 2 men out, and the batter is Dave Collins. He has an infield hit. He's 1 for 2. Switch hitter, batting right. High, ball 1. We're in the Cincinnati fifth. Nothing shaking here. Tied 2-2, 2-5-0 for each club. Pitchers tomorrow afternoon will be Jim Bibby and Frank Pastore, both right-handers. There's a pitch inside. Candelaria dropped down through sidearm into the right-handed batter. Ball 2. To play Collins straight away. He has 3 home runs. He can scoot. The pitch. That's a strike call. He couldn't pull the trigger. 2-1. Fans don't like the umpiring of John Kibler here tonight. And now there's a little heat coming at the plate umpire from the Cincinnati dugout. Candelaria brings it. Foul out of play. 2-2.
One thing that's happened tonight, Candelaria is making Chuck Tanner look pretty good. There was a lot of criticism about starting this youngster because he hadn't pitched in a couple of weeks, but he's making Tanner look very good so far.
And they had Robinson warming up earlier, but Candelaria pitched his way out of it with the help of a double play. Candelaria stops his windup now and gets set again. 2 out, bases empty. 2-2 the count. Dave Collins. High, ball 3. 3-2. Morgan next. Candelaria hasn't walked anybody. 3 strikeouts. He got those early in the game. And he brings in the 3-2 delivery. Swing and a fly ball behind short. Left fielder Milner coming on. He's there, and the Reds go down 1-2-3. After 5 innings here in the first game of the playoff, Pirates 2, Reds 2.
Getting steamed up over an inefficient water heater won't give you the hot water you need, but replacing it with a True Value water heater will. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you True Value hardware stores offer quality water heaters in gas or electric models and a choice of sizes to meet your needs. True Value water heaters are also energy savers because their high-density insulation retards heat loss to give you more hot water and lower energy costs. Get True Value energy-saving water heaters exclusively at participating True Value hardware stores.
No wonder they call the blues the blues. Sound has color. That's why Sony is introducing audio tape with full color sound. It can actually record more sound than you can hear to reproduce every shade of color that's in the sound itself. Sony tape. Full color sound. Then you'll hear all the blues in the blues.
The World Series will start in the American League City a week from today, October 9th. And on CBS Radio, it'll be Vin Scully and the Tiger manager, Sparky Anderson. Here's Willie Stargell leading off in the 6th for the Buccaneers. He pops it up to the left side. That should be caught. Concepcion wants it. Waves everybody away, and 1 out. They got Stargell. He's 0 for 2 now with a walk. Let's walk.
Jack, well, there's a little skirmish out there. They're having a meeting between Seaver and Knight and Morgan. You talk about surprise starters, and Candelaria certainly was one in this series. But I think the classic of all time was Jim Constanti, who started for the Philadelphia Phillies in 1950, a relief pitcher, and he was pulverized by the Yankees 1-0.
How do you remember that?
Oh, I was there.
The batter, Milner. Ball 1. What was the last year you played, Jerry?
57, Jack. It's at least 100 years ago.
Willie Stargell has popped out to start the inning. John Milner's the batter. He's fouled out, popped out, 0 for 2. He's a threat and a pull hitter. Seaver brings it. Swing and a line drive into right field. Collins going back at the track on the move. He's got it for the out. The ball sort of faded a little bit. It was sinking out there, and it held up long enough for Collins to get to it.
For a moment, Jack, it looked like it was going to be off the wall for at least 2, maybe more. Milner's got pretty good speed, but Collins went into the alley well, and that's what you need on this AstroTurf. You've got to have men that can run into that alley, and the only short man out there, as much as I love him, George Foster is not fast, but you forgive him because of that bat. You play him any place with that bat.
I don't think Milner quite got that ball, did he?
Not quite, no, a little bit short.
The batter is Matlock. Bill is singled, stolen a base, popped out, and he's also a home run threat, having hit 14 during the season, ball 1. It was low from Seaver. We're in the 6th inning now, tied 2-2. There's a high pop fly that will be caught in right center by Cruz. He's over there and has it for the out. Matlock flied out, and 3 pretty good hitters, Stargell, Milner, and Matlock. Seaver breezed right through them. We're going into the Cincinnati 6th. It'll be Morgan, Concepcion, and Foster, and something might happen here. We go in tied. Pittsburgh 2, the Reds 2.
Now there's a motor oil worth changing to. The Smart Oil. Smart Oil because it immediately reduces your cost of driving. Smart Oil because it can save your engine. Smart Oil because it pays for itself and the money it can save you. Smart Oil because it's named for what it gives you. Better mileage. Introducing Cam 2 Mileage Motor Oil. The Smart Oil. The oil worth changing to because cars have never cost so much to drive. Cam 2 Mileage Motor Oil is a smart change for you to make because it does 3 things better than most ordinary motor oils. It can save you gas, it can save your engine, and it can save you money. So Cam 2 Mileage Motor Oil is the smart oil to change to. It gives an average of 14 more miles per tank than ordinary oil, and in some cars, 29 extra miles per tank full. Up to 29 more. So change to the motor oil worth changing to. It doesn't just save you gas, it can save your engine and save you money. Cam 2 Mileage Motor Oil, the smart oil.
Jerry Coleman, I wonder if Chuck Tanner
expected Candelaria to be going to the mound here in the bottom of the 6th, as he's doing.
They've got a marvelous bullpen. Jacoby, of course, a guy who, when you pitch in 94 ball games, you better be pretty good. He carried them all the way, and they just have Jackson, who has done a super job for them. Romo, out of the blue, a 10-5 record. They've got an outstanding bullpen, and I don't think Tanner's going to let Candelaria get in much trouble, because if he starts to think that he isn't going to make it, he's gone. Now, Captain Hook, as we know, is Sparky Anderson, who'll be doing the World Series with Vinny Scully. But I'll tell you one thing, Tanner and McNamara aren't too far behind.
And in a short series like this, you better go get that pitcher if you have any inkling that he isn't right anymore.
This is not a place to develop a ball player. You got to win the ball game.
Here's Joe Morgan to lead it off. Fly to center, grounded to second. We've had some brilliant baseball played here tonight. The double play was started by Garner. Madlock has made a couple of good plays. Concepcion has made 2 eye poppers. Morgan takes a strike. Morgan has drawn almost 1,500 walks in his career. Takes a ball outside from Candelaria. Candelaria hasn't walked anybody. 3 strikeouts. Each team 5 hits. Pirates got 2 in the 3rd. Garner homered. Foley drove in the other with a sacrifice fly. The Reds got 2 in the 4th. And a single by Concepcion and a home run by George Foster. Here's the pitch to Morgan in the 6th inning. A foul out of play. Behind third into the seats. Puts Morgan in the hole. 1-2.
Jack, I hate to bring this up, but you didn't bring a little sewing kit with you. One of the buttons of my pants fell off, and I'm going to have to do a little repair tomorrow. I thought maybe you as a...
Didn't fall off. You talked it off.
Yeah, well, something. I thought maybe you as a confirmed traveler might have something to help me out.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Morgan looks at it high. 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They play Morgan to pull. Candelaria brings it. Swinging a foul out of play. It's one of the many things Morgan can do. He can foul off that borderline pitch. Remember Richie Ashburn, the way he used to do that?
I was glad he was over in the National League when I was in the American League. He was, how about...
Solly Amos? Here's Morgan with another foul out of play. Same situation.
Just went out of my mind. Greatest of them all the Hall of Fame, Luke Appling for the White Sox. Oh, man, he'd drive you crazy. And he drove owners crazy. It cost them money.
And the pitchers get so mad, they finally hit him with a pitch and put him on base, and that's what those guys wanted in the first place, just to get down there. 2-2 to Morgan. 6th inning, tied 2-2. The pitch. Joe swings, bounces it to second. Garner an easy chance, gets it, tosses it to Stargell. Morgan has not been the favorite here over in Cincinnati. He has fallen out of favor very rapidly. He's 0 for 3 now, and the batter Concepcion, what an evening he's had. A single and a run scored. And some great glove work.
This is probably the classic ball game. You've had power, you've had defense, you've had great pitching. It's all been put together, and we're running into that situation. The bottom third of the game just about to come upon us, and it's all even, and anything can happen.
Concepcion takes a ball, and Candelaria glares into the umpire. And with the score as it is, 2-2, there's going to be some more excitement before this first game of the 1979 playoff is over. With 1 out, the pitch. Concepcion bounces it to third. Madlock charges it, gets it, throws it, right on, 2 out. He made another good play.
Back with a game like this, a thing that is so appealing, at least to me, having watched so many games, and I'm sure to you, is that one minute mistake can turn it around. A pitch that's a little off where the pitcher wants it to go, it's turned around just like that to the wrong hitter. So that's what's fascinating. And people in these final 3 innings will be watching for something to happen.
Jerry Coleman mentioned that to me between innings. He said it looks like this is the kind of a game where a mistake is going to end up costing the losing ball club. Foster is up. He grounded to short. He bombed a 2-run homer in the 4th inning. He hit one out of sight to tie the game, and we're still tied. He takes a ball high. One thing Foster doesn't like, when he gets in there, he takes an awful lot of time to get in. When he gets in, he wants the pitcher to work right away. A lot of clubs aggravate him by making him wait after he gets in, trying to destroy his concentration. He takes it high and away. That's ball 2. Bench on deck. 2 out. Nobody on. 6th inning tied. 2-2. 2-5-0 each club. Brilliantly played opening game of this series. Foster again taking time. He used to belong to the Giants, believe it or not. They traded him away. Here's the pitch from the lefty, Candelaria. Foster looks at it high. That's ball 3. And he's swinging, folks. And don't even give it a second thought, right, Jerry? He is swinging.
If I was Candelaria, I'd find a way to get him to first base without letting him hit the ball.
Here's the 3-0 delivery. And a bouncer to third. It is a foul ball. Madlock couldn't get to it in time. When Foster was with the Giants, he was acquired for Frank Duffy, an infielder, and Vern Geichert. Imagine that.
Neither of whom have been heard from since.
Bob Duffy got in quite a few playing years at that specialized position, shortstop, but what a lousy trade that was for the Giants.
It almost equals the Frank Robinson deal. Robinson going from Cincinnati when he was finished and went over to Baltimore to play 10 more years and help them win about 4 pennants.
That's the way it is in baseball. You make the trades. Some are good and some turn out poorly. 3-1 to Foster. With 2 out, the base is empty. The pitch. That's high. He's on with 2 out, flips the bat in the air, and waits to see what Johnny Bench does.
Speaking of what might have been, the classic to me was when the Brooklyn Dodgers at that time tried to hide an outfielder in Montreal, and he got drafted by these same Pittsburgh Pirates, and he later became Roberto Clemente, maybe one of the greatest players that ever played the game.
Kept the Pirates in business for a long time, didn't he?
Oh, boy.
What a good ball player. They play Bench to pull just a little. Parker doesn't give away too much of the line in right. Every once in a while, Bench will hit that little dunker into right field, and with a man on first base, that would be costly to the Pirates. Sargent holds against Foster. Here's the pitch. Bench takes strike called at the knees and looks back at the umpire. Bench has tripled and singled. He raced in a double play, one time left on the other. We're in the bottom of the 6th, tied 2-2. Bench takes it low. A ball. Strike, yells the crowd. They're on this umpire tonight, John Kibler. Ed Montague at first. Jerry Dale at second. Frank Pulley at third. Dick Stello, left field foul line umpire, and Jim Quick out in right field. The runner going, and a foul out of play. And Bench was taking a shot at right field. He's in the hole, 1-2. And he broke the bat. Needs another stick.
There's a note on the board that Johnny Bench has 332 lifetime home runs, and he's second behind Yogi Berra with 358. But I don't believe that really is an accurate figure. Berra's home runs didn't all come as a catcher. He played a lot of outfield for the Yankees in his early days.
Bench a threat. I started to say in this ballpark. He's a threat anywhere, of course. But this is a friendly ballpark for the hitters. 330 down the line, 375 in the power alley, 404 center field. Foster, who walked, the first walk by Candelaria, on at first with 2 out. The pitch. Look out. Bench is decked by one, up and in. 2-2. Candelaria is fan 3, walked 1, allowed 5 hits. He just pitched around George Foster, and Bench is trying to make him pay for that. The 6'7" lefty, John Candelaria, brings it in, and a half swing. Did he go around? The umpire at first base says, did he go around? No. So Bench is still alive, 3-2. And I'm not sure I agree with the umpire.
I don't either. I will say one thing. We might explain. The manager and the catcher cannot ask for it. The plate umpire must ask for the ruling from the first base umpire, and that's what took so long.
3-2 the count. The runner will go. There he goes. Here it is. The ground ball to Garner. He'll go to first base. Bench is out. The Reds are out in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. A walk and 1 left. Bench didn't get the fastball that he was looking for.
And Candelaria got him out. So 6 innings of the first game had been played. Pirates 2, Cincinnati 2.
David Keir of Milton, Vermont, tells how Western Union came to the rescue.
I had to go on a sudden business trip. To obtain my passport, I had to send for my birth certificate in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania required a small fee. So I just called Western Union, sent them a money order, and the state had their fee in no time at all.
To send money, call Western Union toll-free and charge it to your MasterCharge or Visa account. Day or night, it's Western Union to the rescue.
The service was just great. There's really no other way I could have done it.
A message from the CBS television network.
Harry Truman said it best, the buck stops here. The American presidency has been called the world's toughest job. Covering it's a non-stop challenge. That's why the president doesn't make a move without Robert Pierpoint, Leslie Stahl, and Lee Thornton. CBS News White House team, Washington, or anywhere around the world.
Cronkite and Company, only on the CBS Evening News.
Just 3 months away, Super Bowl 14 from Pasadena, California. You'll hear it right here with Jack Buck, our buddy, on many of these CBS radio network stations. Sunday, January the 20th. So that's where you're going to be, January the 20th.
Well, there'll be a lot of miles between now and then, I tell you. Yeah, we have the playoffs, we have the Super Bowl, we have the Pro Bowl, we have the Cotton Bowl, all here on CBS Radio. We have a game next Monday night in Oakland with the Miami Dolphins playing there. Here we go into the old stretch inning of this ball game. Tied 2-2. Bottom 3 in the Pirate order against Tom Seaver. Ed Ott has struck out, single to be followed by Garner, and then the pitcher Candelaria. I just looked down to the bullpen. I thought I'd see somebody warming up, but there is no action down there. Seaver has struck out 3, walked a couple, allowed 5 hits. Both teams had a pitcher warming up previously in the bullpen. Here it comes to Ed Ott. Ball 1 low. Bench behind the plate with Knight, Concepcion, Morgan, and Dreesen. In the outfield, Foster, Cruz, and Collins, the pitch. Ott swings, bounces it to Morgan's right. He gets it. Throws. Out. Morgan didn't get much on that throw, and it almost faded away from Dreesen. There's 1 out.
He did one thing, though. He braked himself, and it's tough to do on the AstroTurf. You can't do it as you can on regular surface where you can break your foot and skid into the dirt and then come up throwing. He had to sort of come to a hop and a quick stop and reverse his position very well. Joe does not have a good arm, as you know, Jack, but he made a pretty good play on that one.
There is 1 out, and the batter is Phil Garner. With the exception of Foster, he's hit the ball harder than anybody tonight. A home run, and he lined out to center, and he hits one to Morgan's left. He has it. Throws. He's out. 2 quick outs here in the 7th inning for the Pirates. This is when Seaver toughens up. When he smells that victory, he's had so many, many wins that he knows he's in good shape, that his club is likely to get a run for him before long.
Well, when you've won 235, I guess you get used to coming up on the right side of the ledger. But there have only been 2 innings that have been troublesome for either pitcher.
Candelaria bats for himself. He has struck out, grounded out, and takes a strike. Looks like Seaver is headed for an easy 7th inning.
Seaver had a problem in the 3rd, and Candelaria had his in the 4th. Outside of that, they've been outstanding.
Here's a half swing. He held up. It's a ball. It's 1-1. Candelaria has driven in 6 runs this year, so he's no joke with the bat. His parents are from Puerto Rico. Candelaria is from New York. The pitch, swing and a miss. He calls himself a New Yorican. And he's a good athlete. Outfield straight away. Seaver has him set up, brings it in, strikes him out. Second time Candelaria is fanned. Number 4 for Seaver. Down in order. Pirates, 7 in a row set down by Seaver. 7th inning stretch time here at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. The score is Pittsburgh 2, the Reds 2.
Here's to the people who put the fast in fast food.
This much for you. You're working hard all day just like you always do.
All right,
In the last 6 years, I've been in the fast food industry. Started here as a grill boy, and the owner started to like me, and I just moved up to night manager and day manager, and then finally he took over running his business for him. Well, our concerns is quality, which has to be your top thing. You got to have a good product to give the customer so that they will return. The toughest job, I imagine, would be firing a person. Well, my ambitions are probably to either go ahead and buy this store or something, or someday have my own kind of business.
This much for you.
Yeah, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
We got a 2-2 ball game here at Riverfront Stadium at Cincinnati. I'm here with Jack Buck, and I'm Jerry Coleman as we get ready to go into the bottom of the 7th inning. If you wonder what happened in the scoring in the 3rd inning, Pittsburgh struck first on a home run by Phil Garner leading it off. Then a triple by Marino with 1 down and a sacrifice fly by Foley put the Bucks on top 2-0. But Cincinnati in the 4th inning got a single from Dave Concepcion. George Foster met one. The ball disappeared into the stratosphere. We haven't seen it since, and it's all even at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
This is when a guy like Ray Knight jumps up and bites you. He is 0 for 2. He's struck out, grounded into a double play. He'll lead off against Candelaria, and the Buccaneers warm up. The right-hander, Enrique Romo. The left-hander, Grant Jackson. They call him Buck Jackson. Akosha and Sanguian are the bullpen catchers. Knight leads it off with Dreesen and Cruz to follow. Score tied 2-2, and here we go into the home half of the 7th at Cincinnati. A strike called at the knees. Candelaria has walked 1, a semi-intentional walk to Foster. He has struck out 3. Knight swings and a fly ball high in the air. Will be easy for Moreno. Gets over there, keeps Parker away, and makes the catch for the out. Knight is 0 for 3, and there's 1 gone. The batter is Dan Dreesen. Gotta watch this guy. He's sitting on 18 home runs. And Cincinnati is going to warm up a pitcher. They go to Tom Hume out there. He came along, and it made a big difference when they took him out of the starting rotation, put him in the bullpen. He's become their number 1 man. The pitch coming to Dreesen. And a half swing a ball.
Jack, they traded Tony Perez to Montreal to give Dreesen a chance to play, and he really responded with a big year in 77, hitting 300. But the last 2 years, it's been 250. He's had some power and RBI production, but the average has not been there.
They play him to pull. He's batting with 1 out. And a strike is called and a breaking ball. And he had Dreesen way out in front. 1 ball, 1 strike. About 52,000 here at Riverfront Stadium. They'll announce the attendance shortly. 2-2 game, 7th inning. Dreesen swings and misses out in front again. 1-2. The pitcher is due to bat 4th in this inning. If they get anybody on, they might bat for Seaver. The pitch, a swing, a fly ball into left, into the corner. Milner's over there. It's foul, and he can't get it. It got into the seats just at the last moment.
Well, the American League doesn't have that problem, and we can talk about that briefly. The designated hitter saves pitchers more wins. They get a chance to stay in. In a case like this, if you're in the American League and playing their rules, the pitcher would stay until he went, or if they decided to get rid of him. They do not go out of there for pinch hitters. In the National League, there are many games won and lost for a pitcher when he's not even around.
Do you like the DH or not, Jerry?
I thought it would do more than it's doing. I think what it has done is kept a lot of pretty good hitters who are over age around.
And here's a strike call. Dreesen is punched out of there, and Candelaria gets his 4th strikeout. He threw a high fastball by him, and he couldn't pull the trigger. He's 0 for 3. Second time he's fanned. And the batter is Heidi Cruz. Cruz is a free swinger. And not a really good hitter at this stage in his career on a major league level. But he is dangerous up there. Ball 1. You make a mistake to him and he'll hurt you. We're 2-2 in the bottom of the 7th. Clay Cruz to pull just a bit. Here it comes. That's a ball outside. The top of the Pirate order will be batting in the 8th inning. Moreno, Foley, and Parker.
first time we've seen Ott go out and talk to the pitcher all night, so I guess things are going well, but maybe Ott feels that there is something happening out there that he wants to slow him down just a wee bit with that bullpen moving.
He's behind on the count to Cruz. And if Cruz walks, for example, John McNamara, the manager of the Reds, would be faced with a tough decision. Would he bat for Seaver or not? Cruz, with 2 outs, swings and fouls it. He was trying to put the Reds on top. Hume is seated now, no longer throwing in the bullpen. So it looks like no matter what Cruz does, Seaver will pitch the 8th. Candelaria delivers. That's outside, ball 3. 3-1. One time in one game, there were 3 Cruz brothers in the outfield at the same time in the major leagues. Tommy, Jose, and Heidi, who's at the plate. He swings, hits it hard on the ground to short. Foley has it, comes up firing, throws him out. And that's 4 in a row set down by Candelaria. He takes care of the Reds in the 7th inning. And after 7, we're tied 2-2.
When you need long-distance information, get the tape that measures long distances. The Master Mechanic 100-foot tape from True Value Hardware Stores. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you the 3/8-inch wide epoxy-coated tape is graduated in feet, inches, and eighths, and comes in a rugged steel case for just $10.95. Or for shorter measuring jobs, choose the 3/4-inch wide 12-foot power return tape for just $5.25 at the True Value Hardware Stores. It features a positive toggle lock, epoxy-coated yellow blade, and a chrome Cycolac case. All Master Mechanic tools and accessories are backed by a lifetime customer satisfaction policy, assuring good performance or a free immediate replacement. And they're sold only at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers. And save gas. You won't have to drive far for your hardware and houseware needs. If you're looking for values, service, and selection, you'll find them nearby at any one of the more than 5,000 True Value Hardware Stores and home centers located nationwide. And tell them Pat Summerall sent you.
Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, it's all even 2-2. Jack Buck and Jerry Coleman here bringing you the play-by-play. And Tom Seaver, through 7, has given up 5 base hits, 2 runs. He has struck out 4, and he has walked a couple. On the other side of the street, John Candelaria has given up 2 runs, 5 hits. He has struck out 4, and he has walked 1. How even can you get? Seaver has retired the last 7 in order. He's going out to the top of the order. Jack, I got a feeling things could happen here in these final 2 8th and 9th innings.
Yes, sir. This game has settled into a pitcher's duel at the moment. And Seaver's biggest chore right now, keep Omar Moreno off base. He gets a single, it's like a double. Bench or no bench. Premier base stealer in the National League. He got a triple, and he scored a run in the 3rd on a fly ball by Foley. That followed a home run by Garner, made it 2-0. Then in the Cincinnati 4th, a base hit by Concepcion, the homer by Foster, and we're tied 2-2, 8th inning, and the first pitch from Seaver to Moreno is on the way. High, ball 1. The Reds in their white home uniform, trimmed in red. Here it comes. Moreno taking all the way, takes a strike. It's 1-1. He was not in a hitting position, trying to bother Seaver. Pirates are wearing their gold baseball pants with the black top, gold trim, gold helmets. The pitch coming. Moreno took it high. Started to go, laid off, ball 2, 2-1. Nobody on or out in the 8th. Romo still throwing in the Pittsburgh bullpen. Seaver brings it. Swing and a foul. Back to the screen, 2-2. Al Munchak coaching at first, clapping his hands, saying, let's see you on here. Joe Lonette, one of the lieutenants for Chuck Tanner, coaching at 3rd. Pitcher and catcher talk it over. Harvey Haddix is the pitching coach of the Pirates. And he deserves part of the credit for the success of their club.
When you win, you have to have good pitching. No club that I know in recent history has won anything without good pitching. And I'm looking up at that power of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Nobody, with the exception of Seaver, on the Cincinnati staff has struck out more than 100. He's got 131. And there are 5 on the board with more than 100 for Pittsburgh.
It's a 2-2 count on Moreno leading off in the 8th. The pitch is on the way. Low, ball 3. Talking to Moreno before the game, he said Seaver does not have a good pickoff move. That's his opinion. So he'd love to get on there.
This might be the pitch of the night right here.
He's hit 8 home runs, so if you just lay it in there, trying to avoid the walk, he can burn you. The pitch on 3-2 and a foul backing out of play. Ball goes up into the terrace. Lovely night here in Cincinnati. Let's hope we have good weather tomorrow. We'll be on the air right after 3 o'clock on CBS Radio with the second game of the series. Jim Bibby will be on the mound for the visiting Pirates, and Frank Pastore, a surprise starter for the home club.
There's an interesting development over on the Pittsburgh bench. Dave Parker is in the on-deck circle. Foley is the next hitter. Foley is back in the dugout, and I don't know why. It's unusual.
Seaver has a 3-2 count on Moreno. Yeah, that is strange. Foley was out there, then went back into the dugout. Seaver has to throw a strike. Moreno takes a strike, and he's called out. Sometimes if you're a defensive hitter thinking about that walk too much, you'll take that strike 3. He did it that time.
Believe me, whatever he was looking for, it wasn't what he got. And that was a fastball. That was a hittable fastball. It wasn't a perfect pitch. It was out and over the plate, and that's what Marino liked. But he might have been thinking something else, and he got caught short.
Seaver has retired 8 in a row now. That's his 5th strikeout. And his problem at the moment is Tim Foley. Grounded to third, drove in a run with a fly ball in the 3rd, single in the 5th inning. The pitch on the way. Strike called. Seaver gets ahead. Romo stops throwing in the Pirate bullpen. Parker's on deck. We're tied 2-2. The Pirates and the Reds in the 8th inning. The pitch. Foley looks at a ball. 1-1.
When you get a power pitcher like Seaver against a hitter like Foley, who is a punch and Judy kind of a guy, generally they're tough to handle for the hitter because the pitcher takes the bat out of their hands.
There's a high pop foul going out of play. That's what happened there. He challenged him, and Foley couldn't handle it, fouled it away. He's hit only 1 home run this year. He was more of a threat in the old Jarry Park up in Montreal.
Where he has great strength. Had a Marino gotten on, a hit and run would have been a magnificent opportunity to shake this ball game around because he can make contact, and that would have got Marino to second or maybe more.
Foley's in the hole, takes a ball, squirts away from bench, and it's 2-2. Seaver walks off the mound, tucks the glove under the arm, rubs the baseball, and quickly comes back up. A 16-game winner during the season. Seaver kicks and fires. Foley swings and fouls it past third base. It's still 2-2. And the score is 2-2. The Pirates got 2 in the 3rd, the Reds 2 in the 4th. I still can't get over that home run that Foster hit.
Well, the best way we can describe it is it left the bat and just disappeared. And I don't know where, but it went up in that vast arena in left center field.
Seaver with another pitch. Foley swings, hits it hard to Concepcion. Short hops the ball, has it, throws out at first base. 9 in a row retired by Seaver. The batter, Dave Parker. What a battle this will be.
Jack Buck, the play by Concepcion was careless. He almost lost Foley, who was not a fast man.
He laid back a little bit on the ball and got the short hop, and then didn't put everything on the throw and almost pulled Dreesen off the base. Wasn't that close, but I agree. I concur. It was a bit careless. Parker is the batter. He's grounded to first, hit that ball sharply, walked, and then grounded into a double play. And you know what he's thinking. He's thinking long ball. The big guy gets in. 6'4", 230-pounder. Seaver's first pitch to him. Coming. Swinging on a line drive into right field. Collins on the run. He dives. He caught the ball. A sensational diving, sliding catch by Dave Collins. 10 in a row retired by Seaver. What a play. Adding to the luster of this ball game here in Cincinnati. We go into the bottom of the 8th, tied 2-2.
Take a good long look. Take a look at the cutlass over there. Cutlass watching. Take a good long look. Look at all that cutlass there. Take a good long look at the cutlass over there.
I
I'd like to look at a red Cutlass.
What kind? There are 10 different Cutlass models.
10?
Right. Not only is there Cutlass Supreme, there's 40 Cutlass Calais, and if you're a family man...
I am.
You might want the convenience of one of our 3 new Cutlass 4-doors.
3 new Cutlass 4-doors?
Yep. Then there's the Rooney Cutlass Cruiser Wagon, and then...
Do they all come in red?
Red or plenty of other colors. And you can specify the standard V6 engine or optional V8 in all 10 Cutlass models.
Boy, Cutlass watches do have a lot to watch.
Well, Cutlass is America's best-selling midsize.
Honey, you're going to love what I just got.
Tom Seaver has retired 9 in a row, and the 10th man, give credit to Dave Collins. That ball was headed for extra bases when Dave Parker came up and ripped a slashing line drive into the alley in right center field. Collins, a sliding grab as the ball was just about to hit the turf, got it before it did for a spectacular play. So, in effect, Seaver has retired 10 in a row. He's retired the side in order in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings. On the other side of the street, John Candelaria has not done too badly. The last base hit off Candelaria came in the 4th inning. An infield single by Johnny Bench off the bat of Bill Madlock. So that's been the story. Here as we go into the bottom of the 8th inning, Tom Seaver has pitched his last pitch in this ball game, and an unusual choice, except that it's a leadoff situation, is Rick Auerbach, who can get on, has good speed. It's not the kind of a guy you say, hey, that's the pinch hitter for me. Auerbach's hitting only .210, so it's an unusual choice, Jack. But from the standpoint that he does get on, he can run the bases. Manager John McNamara going with a rather unique situation. And now, wait a minute, here comes manager Chuck Tanner. And I don't know whether he reached for his sleeve or was pointing for the bullpen, but he is.
Yeah, he had Romo ready to come in, and he was just waiting. He was just waiting for McNamara to lift Seaver, and he said, I got you.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to remember that when I work the Padres next year. That's one I'm going to put in the back of my head, because that Tanner's a little sneaky.
Seaver pitched 8 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits. He struck out 5. He walked 2, and Tom Hume, a right-hander, will follow him to the mound. Candelaria is now out. He pitched 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, struck out 4, walked 1, and Enrique Romo, the master of many pitchers, is into the ball game, and I kind of think that Chuck Tanner tricked his old friend John McNamara. You know what? I was about to say something rather unkind. I'm going to say it anyhow.
Well, I think you should if you got it on your mind.
I kind of think Seaver is about as good a hitter as Auerbach, to tell you the truth.
Oh, that is very unkind. Well, there's one thing that is very obvious here. Both managers respect their bullpens. Both of them think that their bullpens, even though their starters are doing outstanding, are good, as good or better than what they have out there. So John McNamara says, Seaver, you gave me 7, 8 beautiful innings. Candelaria, from Tanner, you gave me 7 great innings, but now I'm going to my bullpen. But I'm not sure that Tanner has total control over Romo, because down in the bullpen we have Mr. Ticovey, and it means that Tanner is not quite sure about Romo. He's kind of hoping.
Is that Ticovey? I thought that was the foul pole down there.
He is a matchstick, now I think about it.
Auerbach is going to stay in. Now, McNamara, of course, could have countered with a left-handed hitter. Rick Auerbach, Auerbach, used to belong to the Dodgers. They have Geronimo on their bench. And Spillman, left-handed batter. Geronimo has a bad thumb. Spillman would be the most likely left-handed pinch hitter. They might want to save him for a more propitious moment in this game.
I beg your pardon?
We're going to the bottom.
If you can spell it, you can say it again.
We're going into the bottom of the 8th inning, tied 2-2. It's been a dandy ball game here at Riverfront Stadium. The batter is Auerbach for Seaver. The pitcher is Romo. The pitch is a breaking ball, strike call. Auerbach can run pretty well. Batted .250 against these Pirates. And Romo gets ahead. Romo is from Mexico. Here's the pitch, sidearm pitch, missed outside. Auerbach batted .210, had 1 home run during the year. Very good defensive utility man. And McNamara takes a chance with him, leading off in the 8th inning. The pitch on the way from Enrique. Strike call at the knees. Boo, says the crowd. They thought it was low. Vincente Romo
of whom you've also heard, is the brother of Enrique. Nobody on, nobody out. 8th inning, tie game. Reds haven't had a hit since the 4th inning. We're in the 8th. Auerbach swings, and down he goes. Romo struck him out. Boo, say the fans. They didn't like the strategy. They don't want to see Seaver out of the game, and he's out of it now.
Rick Auerbach, unfortunately, was in a tough spot. He had to take one strike. That's why he was up there, to get on base. So that means you got to take at least one strike. And when you do that, the pitcher's got you. And Romo, with a good curveball, is working with his best pitch against the weakness of Rick Auerbach. He's not a good breaking ball hitter.
I just smiled to myself, thinking that about DeCalvi down there in the bullpen. And I wonder which of the two, Romo or DeCalvi, wants to pitch to George Foster a little later on in this game. Here's the pitch, and it floats high and away to Dave Collins, switch hitter, batting left, 1 for 3.
Kent DeCalvi gives most right-hand hitters a noodle left leg. It gets very wishy-washy. There's a tendency to leave home plate quickly.
1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Romo from Santa Rosalia, Mexico. Kicks and fires. Fastball, line drive, base hit, right field in front of Parker by Collins, and he can run. He's a threat to steal. He's on with 1 out, his second hit of the night. He's made 2 brilliant plays in the outfield.
For one thing, manager John McNamara is going to be forced into taking a gamble. Something has to give here, and sometimes you have to make your own breaks, even though Collins has only 16 stolen bases. Remember, he's not played a full year. So Collins can run. Whether or not he can run and steal, there's another factor, too.
Head out has not been the most consistent of catchers in the throwing department. Collins is a threat to run. Romo is a veteran hurler, schooled in keeping those runners close, but he is not that good, to tell the truth. The batter is Morgan. He's 0 for 3. Good hit and run man, Morgan, the pitch. And it is a ball outside. Score tied 2-2. That was the 6th Cincinnati hit. And the Reds could win it for Seaver if they do some scoring here in the 8th inning and then hold on. Collins takes the lead. Romo checks him. Steps off. Collins dashes back. Morgan steps out. Big crowd on a lovely evening weather-wise in the Queen City of Ohio. A lead by the runner, Collins. There he goes. The pitch is high. The throw by Ott is in. He is safe. He slid by him. The throw is high. A better throw would have had him by plenty, but Collins swiped it. I'll give Collins credit for the best slide of the night. Foley looked like he had him cold, and Collins went around him. He had the outside part of the diamond to do it, and he got in with that left hand, and that might be the ball game. As we mentioned, Jack, anything can turn it around. That could be the difference. Jerry Dale, the second base umpire, made the call. Foley said something to him, not arguing with him. Didn't I get him, he said. Now the runner is on at second base. And the count on Morgan, 2 balls, no strikes. Morgan, a clutch hitter, no doubt about that.
Well, that's a slide you've got to pick up on the way, and it has to come in the last instant. Generally, it goes straight in to get in there quickly, but Collins, apparently sensing that Foley was going to be moving over that bag, went in with a hook slide, got it with his hand, and he's out there in scoring position.
A base hit would put the Reds on top. We're 2-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Romo stands back on. Morgan, the batter, 2 balls, no strikes to count. Concepcion waits on deck. Here's the pitch from Romo. Ball 3. 3-0. It was outside. And you can't be too sure that Morgan is not swinging here, because if he walks, there's the opportunity for the double play with the right-handed batter Concepcion coming up next. They might try to win it here with this one swing, Jerry.
If Morgan gets on, I think Romo's seen his last hitter. DeCalvi's ready to go.
Collins on at second base, 1 out, bottom of the 8th, tied 2-2. 3-0 pitch to Joe Morgan. Morgan is coming, and he takes it high. He walks. 2 on, 1 out. Concepcion, the batter. One thing about Concepcion, he is quite adept at hitting the ball to the opposite field, and Jerry Coleman called the turn. Tanner out of the bullpen, walking to the mound, and he wants Kent DeCalvi.
Well, you've got Concepcion, you have Foster, you have Bench, and you've got Knight. You've got four right-hand batters. Tekulve is vicious against right-hand hitters. He is a very tough man to follow. He's a pencil-thin athlete going in about 6'3" or 4. I think he weighs about 160 pounds. But he comes from the right side, and some batters claim he pitches around the third base coach. He is a very tough guy to handle.
I asked Tekulve earlier, the very good-natured guy, if he minds if we kid him about his thinness. He said, no, I don't. He said he gets it all the time. He's gotten it ever since he was a little kid. In fact, during the off-season, he rents himself out to a bank, and they use him as a thermometer out in front of the bank.
I tell you, Jack Buck, we can use that in St. Louis where it gets so hot in the summers. But, you know, he and Bruce Thiessen for several years confused me. They look so much alike and they pitch so much alike, I had trouble putting them together.
Tekulve has that good sinker ball, and he can work the corners. And as Jerry Coleman says, he causes those right-handed batters to give ground. There are 2 on, 1 out. How important do you think it is, aside from the answer I expect from you, Jerry, for a team to win the first game of a brief 5-game series?
I think it's more important for Cincinnati than for Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh has more horses out on the mound to come back. When you get by Seaver, I think everything from that point on, except for the bullpen, with the Cincinnati pitching staff, is kind of a gamble.
Lacoste and Pastore?
Yeah, very much. Well, Pastore is just a baby. Who knows how he's going to react? He might pitch a no-hitter. Lacoste has been off his feed for 2 months. Freddie Norman has been erratic. So I think this game is much more important for Cincinnati than Pittsburgh.
And as we said before, the Reds can make a winner out of Seaver if they can chase something home here in the 8th inning. They have Collins and Morgan, both very fast. Don Robinson now warms up in the Pirate bullpen. Collins on at second, Morgan on at first. It's Morgan's job to get the big lead and break up the double play if that situation comes about. Concepcion has singled and scored, grounded out twice. They play him around to the right. They give him left center. They really give him the left field corner, figuring that he won't pull Kent Tekulve. And the slender right-hander comes to the belt. He comes to the plate, and it's a strike call. He nailed the outside corner, brother. He can hit the black part of that plate.
Jack Buck, you put a very important point into this ball game. Morgan at first base with a first baseman off the bag and playing deep. It is very tough for the shortstop and second baseman to turn to. This is their toughest double play. Morgan will be all over somebody.
A lead by the runners. The pitch to the plate and a swing and a double play ball to third. Matlock over to second, out. The throw to first, out. And Tekulve pitched out of it. And Morgan did not get on top of the pivot man. They made a heck of a play, Jerry.
They certainly did. I'll have to say that Phil Garner turned it beautifully, and Joe Morgan, as you mentioned, did not get down there as quickly as he might have, or should have, or could have. Whatever. That's the end of it. And now we go to the 9th inning.
So now it's going to be Hume against Tekulve, and in the 8th for Cincinnati. No runs, 2 hits, a double play, the second of the night by the Pirates. 4 left for Cincinnati. We go into the 9th inning. Tom Hume takes over for Tom Seaver, and we are tied. The Pirates 2 and Cincinnati 2.
Now True Value Hardware stores can help you pull your own weight by offering the ACO 12-foot utility chain. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you it has low-carbon steel links and drop-forged grab-and-slip hooks to securely tow a car. Keep one in your trunk for emergencies. Plus, you can also use it to tie down logs, lumber, or pipes when transporting them, or as a safety chain when towing heavy equipment. Get the versatile ACO 12-foot utility chain for just $10.88 at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers. And tell them Pat Summerall sent you.
In 5 seconds, the Sony Tape full-color sound test will be broadcast. Please get ready to set your sound system.
Red. Brown. Silver.
This Sony full-color sound test is brought to you by Sony Audio Tape. It reproduces every shade of color that's in the sound itself. It can actually record more sound than you can hear. Sony Tape, full-color sound.
Well, here we go, 9th inning. It's all even at 2, and Jack Buck is ready to tell you all about it because some of those guys can hit it out of the ballpark are heading up the home plate.
Leading off with Willie Stargell against Tom Hume. First pitch, strike call from Hume. Out of the starting rotation, into the bullpen, became the ace for the Reds. 10-9, 17 saves. You know, they're playing for Stargell. He swings and bounces it right back to the pitcher. Knocks it down, drops it.
Picks it up, throws him out, and almost threw it away. Seaver had retired 10 in a row. That's the 11th in a row retired by Cincinnati pitchers, and they got rid of a big one there.
Well, Hume has been brilliant. He was a starter, and he kept going downhill with Cincinnati. Finally, manager John McNamara, wherever the inspiration came, said, I'm going to look at you in the bullpen. He has been the man who's been absolutely brilliant. He's allowed only 3 earned runs in the last 24 and a third innings.
John Miller drags the ball past Hume, and Hume makes a good play, throws it out. He made a brilliant play on a perfect bunt by Milner. What a surprise play to see Milner, a home run hitter, bunting the ball.
Well, that is unusual because one swat puts you at second base or third base or puts you around all the way to score, and it is unusual. With nobody out, I can understand it. With one out, I don't agree with it.
Me neither.
I will say this, that Tom Hume can field his position. I found that out.
Nobody talking to Milner down in the dugout. They might talk to him a little later. Here's ball on to Bill Madlock. Another home run threat. He's 1 for 3 in the game. The Reds will have Foster leading off in the 9th inning. Hume delivers. There's a long one to the left field. That ball is at the wall, going, and it might be caught. It is up against the wall and caught by Cruz for the out. Madlock missed by about 5 feet in left center field of putting the Pirates on top.
Well, what more can you say? It's one thrill after the other. It's nail-biting time as Cincinnati comes up in the bottom of the 9th.
Cruz had to jump halfway up the wall to catch it in the middle of the 9th inning. The score, Pirates 2, Reds 2.
Here's Barsman and McCormick for Quantel Business Computers.
Well, once again, we're talking with another successful businessman. Sir, tell us about your business.
I am the undisputed king of do-it-yourself kits.
A do-it-yourself kit?
That's right. Do-it-yourself bridge building, do-it-yourself buffalo breeding.
Most interesting. Well, you're obviously very successful. To what do you attribute that success?
My Quantel Business Computer.
Your Quantel Business Computer?
Must be an echo in here.
Yes. What does a Quantel Business Computer have to do with your success?
I can do it myself.
Do what yourself?
I can program it myself. For example, if I need a report on the cost of sales for my do-it-yourself brain surgery kit, I just punch a few buttons, fill in a few blanks, and voila.
Voila?
It's French for eureka, which is Greek for saxophone.
I see. Well, tell me, how are your brain surgery kits going?
Well, so far, nobody's come back to complain.
Mm-hmm. For Quantel information, call toll-free 800-227-1894. In California, call 415-783-3410. Collect.
1979 has been a great year for baseball. Lou Brock climaxes his historic career by joining the elite 3,000-hit club. Then Carl Yastrzemski became the first player in the American League to get both 400 home runs and 3,000 hits. Pete Rose stroked 200 hits again this year for a record 10th time. And how about those down-to-the-wire pennant races? No doubt about it, baseball fever was rampant throughout the land here in 79. A record 43 million fans enjoyed Major League Baseball at the ballpark. Baseball fever. Aren't you glad you caught it? The proceeding has been brought to you on behalf of Major League Baseball.
The crowd is roaring because George Foster is walking to the plate to bat against Kent Tekulve. By the way, talking about baseball fever, the Reds at home drew 2,357,000. The Pirates at home, 1,435,000. Tekulve relieved in the last inning. Got Concepcion on a double play. He'll pitch the 9th. Foster homered in the 4th with a man on for the only Cincinnati runs. He's also grounded out and walked. Tekulve on the hill for Pittsburgh. Has a record of 10-8. It's his ball game. He followed Candelaria and Romo to the mound. Tekulve has allowed 11 home runs this year. The crowd, predominantly Cincinnati fans, wants to end it right here. Grant Jackson goes to the bullpen for the Pirates. Here's the first pitch in the bottom of the 9th. Sidearm drifter stays inside ball 1, and then Foster took a phantom swing.
That was well described. It did drift up there as the kind of a pitch that if it got over the plate might have been very devastating as far as Tekulve's concerned.
The outfield is straight away. They're deep for Foster. He has power to all fields. The pitch is coming. Sidearm and a ground ball to deep short. He might beat it out. Foley with a good play and a long throw. Got him. Foley made a good play in the hole. An excuse-me swing by Foster, and DeColby got rid of a tough one there. And Jerry Coleman, that thing you talked about earlier, about that right-handed batter giving just a little bit of ground, might have had something to do with that swing of the bat.
Foster was fooled completely, but give credit where it's due. Tim Foley came up with a gem. He had to be 30 feet off the line, almost in the outfield part of this ballpark, and threw it on a strike to Wilbur Starsville and got Foster by a half a stride.
Johnny Bench. Ball one low from the side-winning Kent Tekulve. Bench has tripled, singled, and grounded out. Hit 22 home runs during the season. The score tied 2-2, bottom of the ninth. Pittsburgh can only win it in extra innings. The pitch to Johnny Bench. Low again. Ball two. The next batter will be Ray Knight. Some ball game here. Best we've seen in a while, Jerry.
I think it's outstanding. Under the pressure that these athletes are playing, it is a super game. That's the best way to describe it.
Here's a ball low and away, and Tekulve and Ott wanted the call and didn't get it, and it's 3-0, and Bench might try to win it here with a swing of the bat. What's going on for the Pirates in their bullpen?
Don Robinson, the right-handers down there, along with Grant Jackson, so manager Chuck Tanner's got them both going, the right-hander and the left-hander.
On 3-0. Strike called. The Bench was taking all the way. He jumped back, trying to influence the umpire. It's 3-1. We're tied 2-2 in the bottom of the ninth. The Pirates scored their 2 in the third. The Reds got theirs in the fourth. Tekulve kicks and fires, and Bench swings and misses. 3-2. Almost spun around after missing that ball. Tekulve wears dark shaded glasses when he's out there on the mound. An unlikely-looking athlete, but he can pitch. He brings it. Bench swings and pops it foul, and it's near the stands. Ott coming over, and nothing doing. It's back 2 rows behind the dugout. Still 3-2 on Bench.
Jack, but that was the first near mistake that Tekulve made. He threw a curveball. It stayed inside. Bench timed it beautifully, but he got the bat that, quarter of an inch under it, and it went up instead of out. That ball was labeled home run had he hit it properly.
Foster has grounded out to start the ninth. Fine play by Foley. Many outstanding fielding plays here tonight. We're tied 2-2 in the bottom of the ninth inning. Bench with a 3-2 count. Here it comes. And ball 4 is inside. He started to go, held up, and took ball 4. Tekulve issues a walk to Bench. The batter is Ray Knight. Even though that does put the winning run on base, I don't think Tekulve feels too badly about that. He made a pretty good pitch and almost got him.
You can't mess around with the pitches or
you can't lose the game right here, right?
Absolutely. If you throw one over there and say, here, hit it, and he hits it, it's over, and everybody goes home. With Johnny Bench, with George Foster, or with a Wilbur Starsville or a Dave Parker, if you walk them, sometimes you're ahead of the game.
The batter is Ray Knight. He's been retired all 3 times this evening. Pretty big RBI man for the Reds during the regular campaign with 79. He struck out, hit into a double play, and fly to center. A throw to first, and Bench gets back as Tekulve lets Bench know that he's aware of the fact that he's over there. Now Dave Tomlin, a left-hander, and Doug Bear, a right-hander, that go to the Reds bullpen. Here's the pitch. Bench is running. A swing and a miss. The throw down there. He is out. Bench is out stealing for the second out in the ninth inning. The hit run backfired as Knight couldn't make contact.
Well, the Reds really had a tough break on that one. Tekulve threw a curveball that was about a foot outside. There was no chance at all for Knight to get to it, and because of that, it became a routine play as Ott moved to the ball, and that put him into the throwing position. Everything worked perfectly for him.
Garner took the throw and made the tag. There are 2 out and strike 1. And there's a ball hit off the pitcher's glove to the shortstop. Foley has it, throws it. We're going into extra innings. The play went 1-6-3 for the put out, and after 9, we are tied 2-2.
By the right tool. Kill extra 2.
A hammer, drill, screwdriver, chisel, and drill.
Extra 2.
It's all in the hands of the man with a skill.
Extra 2.
The extra tool is a tool of the trade.
Do it with skill and you got it made. Do it with the extra 2.
A hammer drill, screwdriver, chisel, and drill, all in one exclusive skill extra tool. Adaptability, dependability, credibility with renovability.
Do it with skill.
Today's man, he lives with today's technology, and he expects today's razor blade to be made sharp, to shave close. So he helps protect his face with today's Rise. Rise is thicker than the leading foam. Rise helps protect your skin against blade irritation. So for today's close shave, get today's rich, thick Rise. Help protect your skin against blade irritation. Get today's thick Rise. Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the CBS Radio Network.
Sherman Kaplan reviews fine dining here on News Radio 78, WBBM, Chicago.
Well, we came out of this one with a Cracker Jack. It's the first one out of the shot here as we go into the National League playoffs. It's Pittsburgh against Cincinnati. We're into the 10th inning. Pirates 2 runs, 5 hits. The Reds 2 runs on 6 hits. 3 of the 4 runs on home runs. George Foster, a 2-run shot in the 4th inning. A home run by Phil Garner opening up the 3rd. A triple by Marino and a sacrifice fly by Foley for the Pittsburgh runs. And Jack Buck, I tell you, you couldn't ask for a better ball game. Right out of the chute, an outstanding Cracker Jack.
More than we bargained for. After 9, 2-5-0 Pirates, 2-6-0 the Reds. Tom Hume on the mound. He pitched the 9th. Spells the name Hume. Ed Ott, the left-handed hitting catcher, is first up. The bottom 3 in the order for each club here in the 10th. First pitch, and a ball hits slowly to short. Concepcion gets it, throws on the run. A dandy play, threw him out. And Concepcion ended up past the pitcher's mound after throwing him out.
Jack, this is the 4th extra inning ball game for Cincinnati in playoff competition. It's an ominous feeling for Pittsburgh. The Reds have won all 3 prior to this.
The Reds have had the Pirates' number in previous playoff games. By the way, the West has won the last 5 playoffs in the National League. The batter is Garner, has a home run tonight. Got that off Seaver, then lined to center and grounded to second, 1 out of 3. Pirates have Grant Jackson down in their bullpen. The pitch on the way. Garner swings. Base hit to left. His second of the night. He can run. He's on. Foster gets the ball back in. And the hits are even at 6 apiece. 55,006 paid here tonight. The 6th largest crowd at Riverfront Stadium. 2nd largest playoff game crowd. 55,000.
Looks like our friend Mr. Easler is coming up, Jack, to take a swipe, a left-hand hitter.
This fella's kicked around with various ball clubs, and this is his first full season in the big leagues. Mike Easler belonged to various clubs, including the Cardinals. He's a pumper. He's a gunner. Fits right in with these Pirates, doesn't he?
Tell you one thing, he's the kind of a guy, we call him a Bible hitter. Thou shalt not pass anything close that he can reach, he'll go after, whether it's a strike or not. He's not afraid. He loves to swing the bat. Mike Easler, left-hand hitter, 6'1", 200-pounder from Cleveland, Ohio. So Easler up there against Tom Hume, and that Cincinnati bullpen, red hot right now. Doug Bear and Dave Tomlin. Bear, the right-hander, Tomlin, the left-hander. Grant Jackson, the left-hander, throwing in the Pittsburgh bullpen. So once again, it appears as though whoever does it is going to come out of the pen.
Garner takes a big, big lead. He's had 17 stolen bases, not going, and ball 1 as Bench came up ready to throw. I'm surprised Bench doesn't say something to Hume about keeping Garner closer. He almost had both feet out of the sliding area down there at first base. He'll go if they don't pay any attention to him. Takes the lead. Not going. Easler takes it high, and that's ball 2. The crowd gets restless, and Morgan comes in to talk to the pitcher. There's only one thing that keeps Garner from running in a spot like this.
The manager. If he's thrown out, they'll pinch his head off.
And the thing I was thinking of, Jerry, was Johnny Bench.
Well, that's right. He's got a great arm. Of course, any time you run is calculated.
The runner not going. Easler swings and fouls the ball at the feet of the catcher. 2-1. Mike Easler, E-A-S-L-E-R. During the year, he had 2 home runs, 11 RBIs, batted .283. Pinch hitter primarily, seldom played in the field. 1 on, 1 out. Outfield playing the batter to pull. Infielder shorten up a step, looking for the double play. Garner is not going. Here's the pitch. That's a strike, and it's 2-2.
Jack, with nobody out, you might try a hit-and-run situation. But with a left-hand batter up there and one out, you figure Garner's going to get the third anyway. So in this case, unless it goes to 3-2, Garner will probably sit where he is.
2-2 the count. He gets a big lead, however, and now the plate umpire catches some heat from the Pirate dugout and issues a warning. John Kibler off with the mask, hollered something into the Pirate dugout about that last call. 2-2 the count. Lead by Garner. He is going. The pitch swung on and fouled, backing out of play. Tekulve is out of the game now. He pitched an inning and 2/3. He allowed no runs, no hits, gave one walk, and struck out nobody. And Grant Jackson, the left-hander, will be the fourth Pittsburgh hurler of the night. Typical of them. A lead by Garner again. Not going this time, and a line drive into left. Foster is there, the ball curving. He reaches and grabs it for the out, and Garner back to first with 2 out. Eastler got a bad break, hit it right at him.
That's happened frequently tonight. We've had some outstanding plays by both sides. There's no one on the field for either team who has muffed anything so far, except for the one play by Dave Collins, and that could be costly because that gave up 1 run, and we're in the 10th inning, and that could be the difference. Unfortunately, if the Cincinnati Reds win it, they'll forget it. If they lose it, they'll talk about it tomorrow.
In the 3rd inning, Garner homered for the Pirates. Moreno got a legitimate base hit to right, and Collins made a futile attempt to catch it. It got by him, went for a triple with 1 out, and the sacrifice fly drove in the run. The second Pirate run. That's all they have. The Reds got theirs in the 4th when Concepcion singled and Foster walloped a gigantic home run. Now they're 2 out in the top of the 10th. Garner's on base. Moreno is the batter. And Garner is taking a very, very long lead off first. Hume hasn't thrown over there. Now he does, and he's back in time. The throw is high and no tag by Dreesen.
Jack, this is not a bad time to gamble to run a man if you think he can make it, because even if he doesn't, you've got Marino leading off the next inning. You've got to hold him, of course, and this is the guy you'd love to have up there to start an inning, not with 2 outs.
Garner not going, and a high pitch, and Hume almost threw it away. Bench saved it. Yeah, because Moreno doesn't figure to hit the long ball. In this game tonight, he's 1 for 4. Garner on at first with 2 out. Moreno is more of a singles hitter. And a lead by the runner. He is not going. The pitch is a ball. Ball 2. The way I'm looking at it, Jerry, if Moreno gets a hit, he probably won't score the run. You still need another hit from Foley. 2-2 the score on the top of the 10th. 2 out. Garner on at first. They might start him here. Hume is ready. The runner not going, and that's a strike call.
Jack Buck, I found out that strategy is great when it works.
Mm-hmm. Not very good if you don't try it, though.
Well, maybe you're right.
Garner on at first with 2 out, takes the lead, not going. Moreno looks at it high, 3-1. And Hume threatens to walk Moreno and move Garner down into what we call scoring position. Of course, you had home plate here in scoring position. 3-1. The pitch. Swing and a foul, 3-2, and the runner will now go with 2 out here in the 10th inning. 17 saves for Tom Hume. He took over as the number 1 man in the bullpen from Doug Baer, who is warming up now, along with the left-hander Dave Tomlin, whom you used to have on your San Diego club.
Certainly did. Tomlin made the circuit. He came from Cincinnati to San Diego to Texas, back to Cincinnati, and he's very happy here.
3-2. Now Dreesen drops behind Garner. He'll take off with the pitch. Omar Moreno, the batter, trying to deliver a telling blow. The runner going. The pitch swung on, fouled. We'll do it again.
Speaking of Dave Tomlin, that was a classic trade for the San Diego Padres. A man who came to the Padres became a Cy Young Award winner, Gaylord Perry.
You going to have him next year?
Well, he's got a contract.
You're talking like a manager now. Jerry Coleman, my broadcasting partner here tonight, will be the manager for the San Diego Padres next year. By the way, you probably heard the news that Preston Gomez has taken over the Chicago Cubs, and Whitey Herzog has been fired at Kansas City. The runner going, the pitch, another foul by Moreno. It remains 3-2. The Reds will have the bottom 3 in their order in the 10th inning. Dreesen, Cruz, and then the pitcher Hume. against Grant Jackson, who will be the new hurler for the Pirates. Hume worked the ninth in relief of Seaver, who cannot win it now. The ball game belongs to Tom Hume. 10-9 his record. Garner on at first, 2 out, 3-2 the count. The pitch to Moreno, the runner going, and strike 3 called on the inside corner. Moreno doesn't argue about it. Talks mildly with the umpire, Kibler, who punched him out of there. A big strikeout. The first of the night for Hume. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left for the Pirates. The 5th they've stranded. The Reds come into bat in the bottom of the 10th with a chance to win it. We're tied 2-2.
Now there's a motor oil worth changing to. The Smart Oil. Smart Oil because it immediately reduces your cost of driving. Smart Oil because it can save your engine. Smart Oil because it pays for itself and the money it can save you. Smart Oil because it's named for what it gives you. Better mileage. Introducing Cam 2 Mileage Motor Oil. The Smart Oil. The oil worth changing to because cars have never cost so much to drive. Cam 2 Mileage Motor Oil is a smart change for you to make because it does 3 things better than most ordinary motor oils. It can save you gas, it can save your engine, and it can save you money. So Cam 2 Mileage Motor Oil is the smart oil to change to. It gives an average of 14 more miles per tank than ordinary oil, and in some cars, 29 extra miles per tank full. Up to 29 more. So change to the motor oil worth changing to. It doesn't just save you gas, it can save your engine and save you money. Cam 2 Mileage Motor Oil, the smart oil.
The Pittsburgh Pirates are sending up their 4th pitcher. It's Grant Jackson, a left-hander. If you want to go back to the start of this one as we sail into the bottom of the 10th inning with Cincinnati sending up Greason and Cruz to start it off. John Candelaria went the first 7, gave up 5 hits and the 2 runs that are on the board. Romo in a third of an inning, 1 hit, no runs. To Colby, an inning and 2/3, no hits, no runs. And now Jackson coming on in the 10th, and he's going to face Greason and Cruz, the first 2 batters.
There have been 12 hits in the game, 6 by each club. There have been 4 walks, 2 issued to each club. Dan Dreesen has struck out twice, grounded to first, and really hasn't had many good swings. It's been a while since I've seen the Reds and Dreesen, and he just doesn't seem to be swinging the bat very well. Grant Jackson brings it in. Strike call. Boy, he's taking a lot of strikes tonight.
I don't know what it is. Sometimes you may not see the ball. You may be off your feet, whatever it is. He has taken too many good pitches.
Dreesen leading off, looks at a ball. Jackson has a record of 8-5. They played Dreesen to pull the ball. We're 2-2 in the bottom of the 10th. Next pitch. Swing and a line foul down in the right field. It whistles into the seats. And he got his rip that time. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jackson has allowed 9 home runs this year. Grant Jackson, Phillies, Baltimore, Pirates. He knows how to pitch. He has Dreesen set up. Here it comes. Curveball, high. Ball 2. Off-speed curveball. Dreesen just watched it. It stayed up high. Don Robinson is in the Pirate bullpen. Next pitch. High and away. Ball 3 to the leadoff man here in the 10th inning. Tied 2-2. Next pitch swung on and grounded to first. A bad hop. Sargio makes a good play and makes the putout unassisted. And a good thing for the Pirates that Sargio made the play because Jackson didn't get off the mound to cover.
I don't know what it is, Jack Buck, but that happens so often with experienced pitchers. It seems to be one of those flaws where they feel, well, the second baseman will get it and throw it to the first baseman. We've had a couple on our ball club that are chronic losers that way. They simply don't get off the mound. In that case, the ball hit the seam, and fortunately, Stargell was far enough back to get the bad hop.
Cruz with 1 out. A ball outside. Hume is due to bat next and will bat next, according to the bullpen activity. Unless Cruz does something here. Strike call at the knees to Heidi Cruz. Fly to right, grounded to third, grounded to short. Getting a chance to play in this postseason classic. A real break for him. Jackson brings it. High, ball 2. 2-1. Cruz can reach the fence. Next pitch. Low, ball 3. 3-1.
Usually Cruz is a more wild swinger than he has been tonight.
I think he's been a much more disciplined hitter, and it shows in his average.
He swings and fouls it back, and he was going for downtown.
There are some ball players, Jack, excuse me a moment, but Bill Robinson is a classic example. He didn't really put it together until he was 30 years old, and he had great years with Philadelphia and now with Pittsburgh.
He's on that Pirate bench. 3-2 to Heidi Cruz. Grant Jackson, the left-hander. The wind, the pitch, swing, and a high foul back to the left and out of play. And there's no doubt what Cruz is thinking of. He wants to be a hero down there in Puerto Rico as well as in Cincinnati. Madlock, Foley, Garner, and Stargell on the infield, and both Madlock and Stargell are guarding the line. Trying to prevent the double. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Jackson got him. 2 out. And Hume will bat for himself. And failing to do anything with the bat, will then work the 11th inning to Foley, Parker, and Stargell. You're flirting with trouble when you take these Pirates into extra innings. More so than most clubs.
No question about it. You have, if you want to look at that ball club, you got Parker, you got Stargell, you got Milner, you got Madlock, and Garner, who can all reach the seats along with that out. There are about 6 of them in the lineup, and some do it often.
Hume takes a strike. This guy's a pretty good hitter. He's had 8 hits for the year. He takes a ball, and it's 1-1. Right-handed batter against the left-hander, Jackson. High ball, 2. Jackson's been working behind these batters, but he got Greason. He got Cruz. 2 balls and a strike to count to Tom Hume. Strike called at the knees, 2-2. The lefty goes to work, brings it in, and a foul back here. He had a pretty good rip.
You know, some pitchers are good athletes. There are some that are not good at all. But a pitcher that can help himself at home plate by bunting and getting an occasional hit can win more games and stay around a great deal longer. Managers like him.
2-2 delivery. High with a changeup. Ball 3. Why would he do that unless he respects Hume that much? A crazy pitch, wasn't it?
Unusual considering he is a pitcher.
Now a fastball struck him out. Caught the inside corner, and Hume is called out. Second strikeout in the inning for Grant Jackson. After 10, we're still tied. Pirates 2, Cincinnati 2.
Here's Barsman and McCormick for Quantel Business Computers.
Well, today we're talking with another captain of industry. Sir, could you tell us about your company?
Yes, I have a company where I braid people's legs, and I manufacture merry-go-round horse eyes. It's a conglomerate.
Oh, sounds complex. Tell me, how do you control this conglomerate?
Very simple. I use a Quantel Business Computer.
Oh, you're a computer expert, too.
Are you kidding? I don't know a thing about computers. I used to think that software was a programmer's long job.
Yes, then why a Quantel Business Computer?
Because it speaks my language.
What language is that?
English, my friend, English.
Oh, you mean like how now, brown cow?
That's the idea. And with Quantel's plain English programming, I didn't have to hire some white-coated wizard to help me run my business. And with the money I saved, I was able to acquire another company for my conglomerate.
What company was that?
A chain of coin-operated marriage chapels.
For Quantel information, call toll-free 800-227-1894. In California, call 415-783-3410. Collect.
Here at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, we may be down to the final war here before this is over. It's a war of attrition, a 2-2 tie. Pittsburgh got off in front in the 3rd inning with a couple of runs, and the Reds came right back in the 4th inning on a home run by George Foster, and that has been it. In the meantime, it's been Candelaria, Romo, Tekulve, and Jackson on the mound for Pittsburgh, Seaver, and Hume, who is still in there for Cincinnati. We're into the 11th, and let's go back to Jack Buck.
11th inning it is. 3rd inning of work for Tom Hume. The more I think about what you said earlier, Jerry Coleman, the more I agree that Cincinnati cannot afford to lose this first game. The Pirates could afford to lose it.
And still bounce back. They've got those final 2 at home if they have to, and I think their pitching is stronger.
We'll play here tomorrow and on the air right after 3 o'clock on CBS Radio, Eastern Time, that is. And then at 8:15, Ernie Harwell and Bill White with the California at Baltimore game. Foley takes a strike from Tom Hume. We're underway in the 11th inning.
Foley is driven in a run with a fly ball, has a base hit, 1 for 3. The pitch coming, right-handed batter, line drive into left. That's a hit. Leadoff man is on for the Pirates. Foley is safely on. And Parker is up, and he will not be bunting.
Well, they have 1, 2, 3 big left-hand hitters coming up against the right-handed Tommy Hume, and Hume better have a little extra. He's going to have his work cut out for him. Right now, the bullpen for Cincinnati is going to get busy again. Right-hander Doug Bear and the left-hander Dave Tomlin. They won't have to work long, nor will they have to work very hard because they've been up before. Foley goes out of there. They're going to try to get in somebody with better legs.
Well, second guessing is the fun of baseball. Jerry Coleman, you know what I would do right now? With Parker up there, I'd go right to the bullpen for Tomlin.
All right. Well, he may not be ready, but we'll let
Well,
see.
he warmed up earlier. That Matt Alexander is going to be the runner for the Pirates. Alexander has batted only 13 times all year. He's stolen 13 bases.
Here's a gambling play by Chuck Tanner. He's losing and taking out his best shortstop, the guy that held that infield together. He is counting on scoring. That's what it amounts to.
Well, Parker will be batting against the right-hander Hume. For me, I'd have to have that left-handed pitcher in the ballgame. Alexander has been thrown out only one time. He'll be held by the first baseman, Dreesen. He's not going, and Parker takes ball 1. Bench, you know, a brilliant throwing catcher, though he did make a poor throw tonight. We're tied 2-2 in the 11th inning. Leadoff man is on. Nobody out. Alexander has the lead. Not going. A swing and a miss by Parker, and it's 1-1. Foul ball, actually. 1 ball, 1 strike. Parker the batter. Stargell next. Milner in the hole. Bear and Tomlin warming up in the Cincinnati bullpen. Nobody warming up for the Pirates. Alexander has a good lead. He is not going. Started to go, came back. There's a strike called, and it's 1-2.
Sometimes that can upset the hitter. When you start dancing around at first base, they hear that roar and they freeze. You know, it takes their concentration away. I'm not sure that didn't happen to Parker.
A lot of hitters really don't like to be batting when there's a runner on base who is dancing around or threatening to steal. They can't retain their concentration. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Alexander edges away. He is going. The pitch swung on, foul, out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Jack Buck, speaking of runners, Ted Sizemore was a man behind Lou Brock when he went to 118. Jim Gilliam behind Maury Wills when they went 104. You have to be a disciplined type hitter to handle that.
And be able to hit later on with a 2-strike count. There's a bullpen ball that's loose, and Alexander is just now coming back to first base. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. We are tied. The Pirates 2, the Reds 2. No scoring since the 4th inning in this game. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Dave Parker. Throw to first, and Alexander gets back in. Now time called. Concepcion and Morgan talk it over. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Concepcion edges closer to the base in case Alexander is going to be stealing. He takes the lead. Not going. Parker fouls it back here. Upper deck. 1-2. It's been a heck of a ball game. It's going to be a tough one to take for whoever loses this one.
Parker is turning into a cut and slasher up there. He's going after pitches that may not be in that strike zone. I think he wants to turn it in right now and get it over with.
Stargell waits on deck. Hume in his 3rd inning of work in relief of Tom Seaver. Checks Alexander. Throws over there. Close. Safe. Very, very close. Hume put that ball right on the money.
We found out about his move. It's good.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Leadoff man in this inning. Foley singled. Alexander running for him. He is not going. There's a base hit to left by Parker. Alexander stops at second, and Stargell comes up with 2 on and nobody out.
Jack, let me say something about Dave Parker. Hume, with a good fastball, kept feeding him away. Instead of trying to force it to right field and ground out, as you usually do, he said, okay, baby, that's where you want it. I'll try left field. The base hit might be the difference. He just went with it, and he's a big man.
The batter is Stargell, and if I were the left-handed pitcher Tomlin down in the bullpen, I'd have to say, well, the manager doesn't like me. Doesn't trust me.
Well, let me check his earned run average. Let's see what it is. 2.62. That's not too bad.
The pitch to Stargell. Swing and a high fly ball into right center. Back at the fence. It might go. Goodbye. A 3-run homer for Willie Stargell. The Pirates have the lead 5-2. The ball just kept going and going and going and disappeared.
Jack, but that did not look like a home run when I left the bat. It looked like a long fly.
I thought the only thing that would happen would be Alexander would tag and go to third, and I'll be darned. Stargell got into all of it, and it just kept going and going. The ball does carry very well, not only here, but in Pittsburgh as well. I didn't think he hit that ball nearly that hard.
The last man I saw hit a ball like that was our good friend Ralph Kiner. He had that backspin. It just kept going, and it got into that current and took off.
Here's Milner, and there's a strike. So Tom Hume, in relief of Siebert, is reached by Stargell, the second Pirate homer of the night. There's a bouncer to the right side to Morgan. Off the bat of Milner. He throws them out, and there's one gone. Gary, I don't want to go back and say I told you so and brag about the fact I hate to see, I'm not really rooting for anybody here. I hate to see Hume, the young fella, get nailed like that. But I've seen so much of Parker that I just know you have to have a left-handed pitcher in there to have a chance to get him out.
Well, obviously, you put your finger on it. A manager relies on some pitchers and not on others. Apparently, John didn't feel that he had the confidence in the left-hander.
Here's a base hit to center by Madlock, his second of the night. Cruz gets the ball back in. The Reds will have the top of their batting order up in the bottom of this 11th inning. McNamara comes out of the dugout. The batter will be Ed Ott. And Dave Tomlin is coming into the ball game. Well, the horse is out of the barn, it would appear. And now Bill Robinson warms up down in the bullpen. Looks like Ott is going to stay in and face the left-hander. And Hume leaves after a nasty 11th inning.
Lenny Stender is also down there with Bill Robinson, so there's going to be some defensive work with the Bucks taken out on top. They're 5-2 ahead. We're still looking at one down. Make that one down, a runner at first base, and Ed Ott the batter with Dave Tomlin coming in. And it's a reminder right now that CBS is your radio network for Monday Night Football with Jack Buck and Hank Stram. Yes, sir, this Monday, October the 8th, the Miami Dolphins will try to stay on top of the AFC East when they're hosted by the Oakland Raiders. Jack and Hank and Brent Musburger will describe it all Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on most of these same stations.
Well, Oakland came to life last week, beating Denver. Miami was knocked off by the Jets, so they'll have fire in their eyes. They're a game ahead of New England, which lost last night. That makes for a heck of a matchup.
Very briefly, jumping off of baseball, we're waiting for Dave Tomlin to get ready. Tell me about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 5-0. What's going on down there?
Well, it turns out that they're as good as anybody in their division. They're in there with Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota, and they're fun to watch. They have a swarming defense, a really good defense. I talked to some people, and I haven't seen them. In fact, I've never seen them play. And I asked bluntly, are they of championship caliber? Thinking, Super Bowl, playoffs. The people tell me no. But they're beating a lot of people.
Well, the ex-USC coach John McKay and his one-liners, they're okay now.
And they've got a heck of a favorable schedule for the remainder of the year. So they might very well end up in the playoffs, and they're getting great support down there along the west coast of Florida. Madlock stole a base earlier. Might be running again. Tomlin is on the mound. The third hurler of the night for Cincinnati. There goes the runner. The pitch is low. The throw is late. A stolen base, the second of the night. Jerry, you have to throw over there with a guy like Madlock running the bases.
Well, Madlock's already got one in his back pocket. Now it's his second of the night, and you're right. Lou Brock, who you've watched his entire career, Jack Buck, said one thing: if you don't throw to first, I'll steal on you. When you keep throwing over there, it makes it tough, and he ought to know.
And it was a ball to Ed Ott.
Pirates trying to add to their 5-2 lead here in the 11th inning. The outfield is straight away. Ott has had a hit tonight. Ball 2 is outside. Seaver allowed 2 runs, Hume 3, Tomlin working to his first man. Concepcion working and keeping Madlock close to second base. Tomlin kicks and fires, and that's a strike called, and it's 2-1. 55,006 paid here tonight. They are quiet. In fact, I see a lot of empty seats. 2 balls and a strike. The pitch coming. Ott takes strike 2. 2-2. Doug Bear is down in the bullpen. Garner is next. Wouldn't be surprising to see Tomlin, if he gets Ott out of here, lifted and they bring in the other hurler. A single by Foley. Alexander ran for him. A single by Parker. And a home run by Willie Stargell. 5-2, Pirates here in the 11th inning. The pitch, Ott swings, fouls it out of play off to the left. We're on the air right after 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon here on CBS Radio, and it looks like with a pitching pairing of Bibby against Pastore, both right-handers, the Pirates will be looking for their second in a row. That's 3 Eastern time. Actually, 3:07 is our starting time. Put that down in your pocket calculator. Next delivery to Ott. Swing and a strikeout for Tomlin. That's the second out of the inning. Well, they're going to bring in the new pitcher or walk Garner. Here comes McNamara out of the dugout. McNamara, one of the many mentors in the National League who stands a chance at being the manager of the year. Both of these managers have credentials, Chuck Tanner and John McNamara. Bill Verdon down at Houston. They're going to leave the left-hander Tomlin in there. Garner is the batter. He's homered and single, lined out. He's had a good night with the stick. 2 out of 4. Pirates have 10 hits, the Reds 6. And they're going to put him on. This will be the 3rd walk given up by Cincinnati hurlers tonight. The news tonight is that Bill Bonham has been scratched from the playoffs because of a bad arm. And Lee Brandt, a left-hander, has joined the Reds. They got permission from Chub Feeney, the president of the National League, to add him to their staff. Charlie Leibrandt, Leibrandt. And the runner down to first base on the walk. Garner on base for the 3rd time. Madlock down at second. And Grant Jackson is the batter. He's one of those mixed-up creatures who throws left, bats right, and can swing the bat. Here's the pitch. Swing and a foul out of play to the right. 2 on, 2 out. Look at the empty seats, Mr. Coleman.
When Stargell hit his home run, the elevators suddenly went out of business. This place emptied. It was that quick. The minute that home run cleared the wall, they poured out of here. Rather unusual, considering the Reds do have a comeback-type team.
Jackson could help the Pirate cause. Swing and a miss. Strike 2, and he looked bad on that one. We've had 3 home runs tonight. Garner with the bases empty for the first run of the game in the 3rd inning. Foley's sacrifice fly gave the Pirates their 2nd run. Then the 3-run homer by Stargell in this inning. A 2-run homer in the 4th by Foster for the only Cincinnati runs. There's a line drive, and Tomlin caught it. And he was lucky to do so. So, the inning is over. Jackson hit the daylights out of the ball right at Tomlin, head high. He caught it. 3 Pirate runs, 4 hits, a walk, 2 left, 7 stranded for the Pirates. We go into the bottom of the 11th inning, and it's Pittsburgh 5 and Cincinnati 2.
Take a good long look. Take a look at the cutlass over there. Cutlass watches. Take a good long look. Look at all that cutlass wear. Take a good long look at the cutlass over there.
Herb, look at this sticker.
Good
price, huh?
Not that. The mileage sticker, 19 miles per gallon.
That's got to be a misprint.
It's no misprint. Introducing Oldsmobile's 1980 Cutlass in 10 new models. Cutlass, with its available 4.3-liter V8, has the best V8 EPA gas mileage estimate of any car, 19 miles per gallon. Remember, use this EPA estimate for comparisons. Your actual mileage may differ. This engine is not available in California.
With 19 miles per gallon, why be a Cutlass watcher? Now, I'm a Cutlass owner.
Well, we're scrambling here. We're in the bottom of the 11th inning. Pittsburgh out in front 5-2. The Buccos 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors. Cincinnati 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. Remarkably, there have been 7 runs plastered on the board. 6 have been put there by home runs. One by Phil Garner, a solo shot in the third, and what might be the winning blow of the night, Wilbur Stargell popped a 3-run shot in the top of the 11th inning.
A funny-looking ball, wasn't it?
I really thought it was going to be a nice long fly, and the runner at second base, in this case Alexander, would get to third, and that would be it.
I thought the furthest it would go would be to the edge of the track. And we're in a pretty good position to see the ball.
The thing is, it had that backspin, and I've seen Kiner when his prime hit him like that. The ball sort of has that reverse spin, and the wind gets it, and out it goes. In fact, Ralph Kiner tied up the 1950 All-Star game in the 9th inning with a home run just like that looked like a fly ball to left. I remember well. We staggered around for 14 innings.
Grant Jackson, who pitched a perfect 10th inning, will pitch to Dave Collins to start the 11th inning. Collins, a switch hitter, bats right and takes ball 1. He's had 2 hits and a stolen base tonight and sparkled in the field. Many brilliant defensive plays. Pirates leading 5-2. The pitch to Collins. It's low, ball 2. Reds need 2 runners to have a chance. Can't you just see Collins, Morgan, and Concepcion get on and Foster come up? Don't go away, folks. Jackson throws a strike, 2-1.
Well, everybody and their Aunt Susie is down in the bullpen working for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Don Robinson and the lefty Dave Roberts.
Boy, he ran into a gold mine, didn't he?
Here's ball 3 to Collins, 3-1. The last thing Jackson wants to do is walk him. He's got to lay it in there and say, here, hit it. Nobody on or out in the bottom of the 11th inning. 5-2 Pittsburgh leading. Some ball game. The 3-1 pitch. Swing and a ground ball to second, fielded by Garner. By Stennett, rather, who's in there at second base, and he throws him out. Garner went to short when Foley was lifted for the pinch runner. So Collins is out, and Morgan is up. He's had 1 out of 4. Pirates have a good bench, Mr. Coleman.
Outstanding. They can kill you with a bat. They've got good defense. They've got a lot of players that are versatile, and that's what you need on the winter. And they can run.
1 out. Grant Jackson on the mound. He'll be the winner if it stays as is. Morgan takes ball 1. Right back here tomorrow, 3:07 Eastern Time is broadcast time. Strike to Morgan. It'll be Jim Bibby. What a surprise he was. 12-4 against Frank Pastore, 6-7. And the Reds look like they're going to be under the gun. The pitch from Jackson. Swing by Morgan. Fly ball to right. He didn't get it all. It'll be caught by Parker. Waits. 1 hands the ball. 2 out. Pittsburgh is 1 out away from an opening game victory in this best-of-5 series. Again, we say we're very happy that the folks are tuned in on American Forces Radio around the world. Hope your favorite ball club wins. Don't blame us if they don't. You and I really don't care who wins, do we, Jerry?
I have a total objectivity out there. I like Chuck Tanner. I like John McNamara. So let the best team win, as long as it's good, and it's been exciting.
It's been a heck of a game. I hope we have more action like this. A strike call to Concepcion. Grant Jackson set down 5 in a row. There's a base hit to right. A base hit to right by Dave Concepcion, his second of the night. The batter is Foster. He has walked at a 2-run homer, and he has to get on with 2 out to give Bench a chance at it. And the right-hander, Don Robinson, starts to throw a little harder in the bullpen.
Chuck Tanner's also up and looking very carefully at his left-hander. He'll let him go to Foster, but I believe that Foster should get on. With that right-hander, Don Robinson throwing down there, we may see him coming in because with Johnny Bench up there, that's devastating. He can hit it.
Ed Ott goes to the mound to talk to Grant Jackson. They call him Buck Jackson. He's gotten a lot of mileage, hasn't he?
You know, he's done a pretty good job this year.
Oh, yeah.
He's a guy that people kind of forgot all about, and suddenly that bullpen of Romo, Jackson, Jacoby, they've done an outstanding job, no question about it. And Blyleven, really, Bert Blyleven has been a bellwether for this ball club.
So it's Foster. All the Pirates have to do is get him out, and they win. That was the case with Concepcion, but he got a hit. Here's the pitch. Foster takes a strike call at the knees. I'll say this, John Kibler has been giving those pitchers on both sides that low pitch all night as we view it from up here. Foster takes a ball. It's 1-1. A ball and a strike. Cincinnati trailing 5-2, bottom of the 11th. Collins grounded out. Morgan flied out. Concepcion singled. Foster takes ball 2. 2-1.
George Foster, we might mention, is going to be a happy bridegroom. He's going to marry a young lady that he's known since he was in high school, 15 years.
He's a wonderful person, Foster is.
Certainly is.
We wish him a happy married life. Here's the pitch to Foster. Swing and a foul back on a high fastball. 2-2. He hit a home run back in the 4th inning with a man on to tie the game that was of gigantic proportions. Into left center, way up in the seats. Now the Pirates are within a strike of a victory as they lead 5-2 in the bottom of the 11th. Concepcion on it, first 2 out. Here it comes. Foster takes it high. Ball 3. The Reds need another base runner to have a chance. Bench is on deck. Don Robinson is in the bullpen. 3-2. Concepcion will go with the pitch. They play Foster straight away. Jackson sees Foster call time. It's been a beautiful ball game here tonight. Beautifully played. The 3-2 delivery with the runner going. Half swing, he walked, and the tying run comes to the plate. They moan over in the Pirate dugout. They thought that he had swung at the ball, but they say no. And Montague gets the business. Montague, the first base umpire, gets the business from the Pirate dugout, and he reacts to it. Chuck Tanner out of the dugout, and he wants Don Robinson to pitch to Johnny Bench.
Well, it's 1-on-1 right now. Robinson is not a finesse pitcher, as you know, Jack. He's a guy that has that pretty good old country hardball, and Johnny Bench and Don Robinson ought to have some battle here. He doesn't want to walk him, obviously. Behind him comes Ray Knight, and more problems develop when you do that. So I'm looking for Robinson to try to bust it by Bench, and Bench to try to lay one out here to tie it up. So it's going to be something. Let's watch it.
What a horse this kid is. Don Robinson. He is 6'4", 230 pounds, from Ashland, Kentucky. Lives in Canova, West Virginia. And he can throw just about as hard as anybody in the National League.
Morning.
Welcome to McDonald's.
You probably don't recognize me without the hang gliding outfit.
Oh, you're the one.
I'm wearing a wetsuit.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the most of my morning.
That's why you're here.
Starting here at McDonald's, then I'm going diving.
Splash.
Or maybe gliding. Of course, I could jog, but that wouldn't be easy with the flippers.
Enjoy your morning and still have time for fresh grade A scrambled eggs with sausage and hash browns.
A delicious breakfast, a few sets of tennis, and then...
Wimbledon.
No, actually, I thought I'd drop by the office, say hi to the boss, preserve my job. That would be important.
Nobody can do it like McDonald's can.
Make the most of your morning.
Now, True Value Hardware stores can help you pull your own weight by offering the ACO 12-foot utility chain. Hi, Pat Summerall to tell you it has low-carbon steel links and drop-forged grab-and-slip hooks to securely tow a car. Keep one in your trunk for emergencies. Plus, you can also use it to tie down logs, lumber, or pipes when transporting them, or as a safety chain when towing heavy equipment. Get the versatile ACO 12-foot utility chain for just $10.88 at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers. And tell them Pat Summerall sent you.
Well, the Reds are not without a chance. There were 2 out quickly against Grant Jackson as Collins grounded out to second. Morgan flied to right. And then a base hit by Concepcion. Foster drew a walk on a 3-2 pitch. And the 5th pitcher of the night, following Candelaria, Romo, Jacoby, and Jackson to the mound, is Don Robinson. Robinson for the year is 8-8. He's had a tender arm.
which got him out of the pitching rotation. He has no saves for the year. And those who are left are on their feet rooting for Johnny Bench.
You talk about Chuck Tanner going all the way. He's got Bert Blyleven down there, one of his key starters. He wants this game desperately, along with the left-handed Dave Roberts.
How many pitchers he got? 20?
I don't know, but he's using them all tonight, I think, or at least they've all been up.
Bench has tripled off the wall, narrowly missed a homer, also singled and walked 2 out of 3. If he tags one, we'll be tied. It's 5-2 Pittsburgh. Here's the first one to Bench. Fastball, foul back, strike one. You talk about Major League Baseball. A blazing fastball and a big league swing and a foul ball. Strike one. This Robinson is good enough to challenge him. When he gets that fastball up, it takes off. He's tough to hit.
Some hitters, you can take up the ladder. I'm not sure about Bench. I think he's been around too long for that.
2 on, 2 out. Here's another delivery on the way. It's outside. Pirates are not at all worried about the base runners. They want the hitter.
I get a strong feeling Don Robinson, if he's going to get beat, it's going to be with his best pitch. If I'm Johnny Bench, I got to look fastball all the way.
1 ball, 1 strike. The on-deck hitter is Ray Knight. 5-2 Pittsburgh here in the bottom of the 11th inning. Here's the pitch to Johnny Bench. It's high. Ball 2, 2-1. The left-hander, Dave Roberts. The right-hander, Bert Blyleven, warming up in the Pirate bullpen, and Stargell and Ott converge on the youngster, Don Robinson. They weren't in the playoffs last year when Robinson arrived on the scene. Phillies had that honor. So Stargell, undoubtedly the leader of this Pirate ball club, went in to talk to the hurler. 2 balls and a strike to count to Johnny Bench. Well, what do? Take a chance on missing with your breaking ball? Running it to 3-1. It's a tying run at the plate. Ott gives the sign. The runners lead away at first and second. The pitch to Johnny Bench is coming. Swing and a miss. He blew it by him. 2-2. Here, see if he can hit this. He threw a smoker, didn't he?
Hey, that's his pitch. He's not going to get beat by one that he doesn't have confidence in. It's his fastball that got him there, and it's going to be his fastball that's going to keep him there one way or the other.
And now if he can put that slider in the right spot, Bench would jump out of his shoes. 2-2 the count. The 2-2 pitch is coming. Fastball just missed outside. Ball 3. He had an idea. They're howling over in the Pirate dugout. The pitch just barely lowered away. The runners will go. That's unimportant. Bench is the big man. Knight is on deck. Robinson on the mound. The crowd roaring. Robinson steps off. Tremendous ball game here in Cincinnati. Ready again. The 3-2 pitch. Runners going. Ball 4. They're loaded up. The tying runs are on base. Robinson tried to get a breaking ball over on 3-2.
That was a very strange call. He'd thrown 5 pitches, all fastballs, and suddenly he decided, well, maybe I can get a curve over. A pitch he hadn't thrown at all, and consequently, he's got the bases loaded, and the Reds are still alive.
Let's see if they put a runner in for Bench. They do not. He's the tying run. The batter is Ray Knight. Knight is 0 for 4 tonight. Right-handed batter against the hard-throwing Don Robinson, who just walked Bench to load them up and put the tying runs on base. Here's the pitch tonight. Swing and a foul. He went up there pumping, fouled it off the catcher's mask.
The one advantage, Jack Buck, that Don Robinson may have now is he doesn't have to come to a set position. He can take that full windup, and for young pitchers, they like the feel of being able to give it everything. He might have an advantage here.
Knight has hit 10 home runs. What a blow that would be, huh? 5-2 Pittsburgh, bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, 2 out. Strike 1 to Ray Knight. The full windup by Robinson. The next pitch coming. Swing and a foul. He went up there pumping, fouled it off the catcher's mask.
The one advantage, Jack Buck, that Don Robinson may have now is he doesn't have to come to a set position. He can take that full windup, and for young pitchers, they like the feel of being able to give it everything. He might have an advantage here.
Knight has hit 10 home runs. What a blow that would be, huh? 5-2 Pittsburgh, bottom of the 9th, bases loaded, 2 out. Strike one to Ray Knight. The full windup by Robinson. The next pitch coming. Fastball fouled away. Strike two, and again, the Pirates are within a strike of a win in the first game of this National League playoff. We're here tomorrow and on the air right after 3 o'clock, 3:07 Eastern Time on CBS Radio with the second game. Jim Bibby against Frank Pastore, and then tomorrow night at 8:15 on CBS, Ernie Harwell and Bill White from Baltimore where the Angels play. Strike two to Ray Knight. Robinson trying to end it here. Goes to work. Here's his pitch. Ball one.
John Robinson twice, once with Johnny Bench and this time with Ray Knight. When he went for the kill, he went low and outside. If you're going to do it, you got to go inside and get that guy off the plate and then work him away.
Here it comes to Ray Knight with the base hit loaded. Swing and a miss. The ball in the dirt. Out has it. Throws to first. The game's over. The Pirates have won it by the score of 5-2 as the Reds leave 3 in the 11th and Strand 7. We'll have the totals and the highlights in the ball game very shortly. The Pirates earn the victory, and they're tough to take into extra innings, Jerry.
Well, I got to tell you, it was some ball game, Jack Buck. An exciting game. Pittsburgh came out on top. They used half their pitching staff. 5 of them went out there. Candelaria, Romo, Tekulve, Jackson, and Don Robinson finally to wrap it up. So the save goes to Robinson. The win goes to Jackson. A loss to Tommy Hume. Pittsburgh, 5 runs, 10 hits. No errors. 7 men left on base for the Cincinnati Reds. 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. And the Reds left 7 men on base. So Cincinnati came up short in this opening game, 5-2. Man, what a game it was. If you want to go back to where it all started, it started in the second inning. A home run by Phil Garner off Tom Seaver to put the Bucks on top 1-0. And here was the key play in the ball game, as it turns out. Omar Marino hit a low line drive to right field. It was misplayed by Dave Collins, or rather misjudged. He thought he could catch it. When he couldn't, it went by him for a triple. A sacrifice fly got Marino in. It was 2-0 Pittsburgh, and of course how critical that became when they went through 9 innings tied at 2 with George Foster's home run, a shot with Dave Concepcion on in the 4th inning, making it 2-2 going into extra innings. And finally, the 3-run homer by Wilbur Stargell in the 11th inning put the Bucks over the top for a final 5-2 score. We'll continue our wrap-up in just a moment. We'll return in 1 minute. I'm Jerry Coleman with Jack Buck, CBS Radio Sports.